Good evening, and welcome into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. I'm Ty Goldman alongside my good buddy Connor Davis. And on tap for you tonight from the Humphrey Coliseum, your Mississippi State Lady Bulldogs are going to take on the Charlotte 49ers out of the American Athletic Conference. Mississippi State coming into this one 8-1 after a recent win over Pitt this previous week, and Charlotte coming in at 4-5. Their last game was played in the month of November. They lost that last game to George Washington. So State at 8-1 on the year, and the 49ers 4-5 on the season. This is the first time these two teams have ever played each other in their program's history. So first game will take place here on the great campus of Mississippi State University in Starkville, Mississippi, inside the Humphrey Coliseum. Under Sam Purcell, Mississippi State overall against non-conference play in regular season is 27-1 in non-conference play. So State, a really good record under Sam Purcell when the Bulldogs are playing non-conference opponents here at home. Mississippi State has never lost to an AAC team under Sam Purcell. 2 wins over Memphis, a win over USF, and a win over Tulsa. That's the history behind Sam Purcell's Mississippi State Bulldogs playing against the AAC. And talking about the AAC, we're going to talk about our opponent tonight. That's the Charlotte 49ers on the year. Charlotte, again, 4-5. Their head coach is Tamika Reed. In her second year, went 11-21 last year, but made the AAC tournament quarterfinals. Previously, Reed was longtime head coach at Jackson State. 125-54 record in 6 years there. Won 5 straight SWAC regular season titles, and had 3 SWAC tournament titles, 3 NCAA tournament appearances for her with the Tigers, and a 4-time SWAC Coach of the Year. Before that was a head coach at Hines Community College before she got the call up to Jackson State, but now she finds herself at Charlotte. And Charlotte on the year, Connor, 4-5. I'll let you finally get to talk after I did the intro there. But Charlotte 4-5. They were picked 10th to come into the year, coming into the year in the AAC. Losses to Auburn in overtime, LSU, Cal, Oklahoma State, and George Washington. What are some notes you've seen, or what are some notes you've taken on this Charlotte team?
Yeah, this is a Charlotte team that's coached by somebody that hasn't really struggled over the course of their career. She is 140-80th in her career. That's head coach Tamika Reed. But at Charlotte, she's kind of struggled. She has a lot more competition than she's used to. That's 15-26 overall since her time in Charlotte. Now, that's over the course of 2 seasons. But if you look at it, they're 248 in scoring offense. That's 62 points per game they're allowing. That's 278 in scoring defense, and that's 69 points they're allowing on here. So they have a lot to work on. Those are pretty low numbers if you're Charlotte, so you got to work on a couple of those. But their shooting percentage is just not what you want to see. It's 336th for their field goal percentage. That's 34%. And their three-point percentage is 133rd in the nation. That's 31%. Also, they're not great from the charity stripe tie. That's 68%. That ranks 224th in the entire country. But they don't really turn the ball over that much. That's only 15 per game. So they work a little bit on that. So I'm going to hand it off to you. Talk a little bit more about the 49ers.
Well, before we talk about the 49ers, we're going to break for the national anthem here at the Humphrey Coliseum. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. You're listening to the Bulldog Student Sports Network pregame show. This is Mississippi State women's basketball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
Was nice, the party was pumping. Hey, yeah. And everybody having a ball. Hey, hey. Until the fellas started name calling. And the girls respond to the call. I hear a woman shout out, who let the dogs out? 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 I see the dance people had a ball cause Billy Bongers get out. Get back, Gruffy, bash Gruffy, get back, you flea infested mongrel. Gonna tell myself I man no get angry. Hey, yeah. 280 cows calling them K9. Hey, but they tell me, hey man, start up the party. You put a shout out? Who let the dogs 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 out? Say, a doggy is nothing if he don't have a bone. Oh, doggy, hold your bone. Oh, doggy, hold it. A doggy is nothing if he don't have a bone. Oh, doggy, hold your bone. Oh, doggy, hold it. Who let the dogs out? 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 I see the dance people had a ball cause Billy Bonders get out. Get back, Gruffy, bash Gruffy, get back, you flea infested mongrel.
Well, if I am a dog, the party is on. I gotta get my groove on, got my mind, I'm gone. Do you see the rays coming from my eye? Walking through the prison, Digimon is breaking them down. Me and my white talk, short, dealing, can't see color.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network pregame show. I'm Ty Goldman again alongside Connor Davis. On tap tonight from the Humphrey Coliseum, your Lady Bulldogs of Mississippi State going to face the Charlotte 49ers out of the AAC. So let's get back to talking about Charlotte. We left off talking about, them this season. Again, 4-5 coming into this one. 5 losses on the season are to Auburn in overtime, LSU, Cal, Oklahoma State, and a most recent loss to George Washington. This is a team with 11 newcomers, so a lot of new faces on this roster. Talked a little bit about their offensive output. They've really struggled this season offensively, but now we'll kind of talk about defense. Again, Connor mentioned this at the beginning of talking about Charlotte on the season. 278th in scoring defense. They're allowing 69.6 points per game. I think that bodes well for Mississippi State with how Mississippi State is able to score the basketball. Just in the middle, though, between everything, talk about just rebounding the basketball. They do a really good job of grabbing offensive rebounds, where they grab 17.8 a ball game. That's 6th in the NCAA, so really good at that. But you look at on the flip side of that, defensively only grabbing just under 22 rebounds a ball game on the defensive glass. That is 22nd, in college basketball. Their rebound margin is minus 1.7 on the season, 233rd. So not a very good rebounding basketball team. Defensively, they have struggled. Teams shooting 41% from the field on them per game and 30% from 3 on them, and only forcing about 16 turnovers a ball game. That's well behind really the national average and some of the better teams in college basketball in terms of forcing turnovers. So, a team that has struggled offensively in some ways. Okay rebound of the basketball, not as much defensively rebound of the basketball, but outside of that, defensively, they have struggled too. So, but they have had some close losses this season. This is definitely a team that State cannot take for granted. We'll go back and look, Connor, at their loss in the Cayman Islands Classic. They got swept in that one. The first loss was to Oklahoma State, 75-64. But we're going to talk about that second loss to George Washington, where they lost 81-67.
Let me see what they're doing against George Washington here. As you said, Ty, they got swept in this Classic. You shot only 37% from the field. That's 27% from 3. There's only 10 turnovers, So that's your main problem. You were just missing a lot of shots, but you had 20 offensive rebounds, 10 second chance points. So you did a lot when it came to rebounding the ball and getting yourself in position to kind of score again. And you gotta make opportunities for yourself. So we keep going. That's George Washington. They shot 54 from the field. That's 39% from 3, and had 15 turnovers against Charlotte. Now, if Mississippi State could emulate what George Washington did, I think you would have a pretty good showing if you're Mississippi State today.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I look at it, in that ball game you mentioned, shot only 37% from the field and 27%, from behind the three-point line. Only had 10 turnovers in the ball game, so what was the main issue there? They kept care of the basketball. You mentioned they had a lot of offensive rebounds too. They just couldn't knock down shots in the ball game, and that's been something that Charlotte has struggled with this season. Defensively too, also, George Washington shot 54% from the field and 39% from behind the three-point line. That is really, really good for George Washington, but bad in the terms of Charlotte. Just not great defensively. Just really struggled defending them. Got out-rebounded by 2 in the ball game. George Washington won the battle on the defensive glass. Mentioned how bad Charlotte was defensively rebounding the basketball. They won that rebound battle 26-15, George Washington did on the defensive glass. So Charlotte never led in that ball game, and George Washington was a team that was struggling as well coming into that one. They were coming into the ball game 3-5. So that'll wrap it up for Charlotte. We'll look at Mississippi State on the year, 8-1, a recent win over Pitt. They absolutely dominated Pitt this past Thursday night. Mississippi State, overall on the season, what have you seen from the Lady Bulldogs under head coach Sam Purcell, Connor?
Your scoring offense is tied 64th in the country. That's 76 points per game. You're shooting well from the field. I would say it could be a little bit better, but 46% is really what you want to see. That's kind of the standard that we have here at Mississippi State. That ranks 41st in the country. That's 9th in the conference. We got to get those numbers up come conference play.
I will say, you see 9th in the conference. That just shows you, because State's shooting the ball so well, how good the Southeastern Conference is. So you're right, got to get it at least a little bit better during conference play. But Mississippi State, though, shooting the ball so well, it just goes to show you, being 9th in the SEC, how good the conference is this season. Continue, Connor.
And you're shooting 35% from 3. That's really a number you also want to see, but that also ranks 9th in the conference as well. So there's a lot of good shooting teams in the conference. So when you get to the conference, we talk about you have to kind of round off your edges. You can't struggle when you play these non-con teams, so you got to round it off. Your turnovers are a big issue. That's 16 per game that you're giving up to your opponents. That's 136th nationally. That's 14th in your conference. You got to kind of get rid of that turnover. It's what's losing you games and keeping you out of them. You look at that one loss you have on the board, turnovers was a big issue in that game.
You were exactly right. In the Texas Tech game, yeah, State only turned the ball over one time in that first quarter, where they dominated Texas Tech and scored 31 points in that first quarter. Over the course of the game, only scored 31 points over the rest of those 3 quarters and turned the ball over 21 times. So, yeah, turnovers were a big issue for Mississippi State in that one loss. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the turnovers have been the issue for State this season. They were kind of the issue for the Bulldogs last season. So, and I've mentioned this year, State might just have to face that this year. Might just have to deal with that they're going to turn the ball over a decent amount. But I tell you what, they cleaned it up last game in the Pitt game and only had 8 turnovers. So maybe if they can continue to do that, we know how good this offense is when they shoot the basketball. We'll see how Mississippi State fares, and hopefully State can continue to keep the turnover number under double digits and keep it, below 10. So you look at the defense, by the way, also this defense is very, very good. They're not as much of a forcing turnovers kind of defense, but they make opponents shoot bad shots. On the year, Connor, teams are only shooting 35% on Mississippi State from the field. That's 34th in the country, 8th in the SEC. Again, 8th in the SEC. That shows you how good the SEC is this season, and only allowing teams to shoot 29% from 3. So State, a really good team defensively. They get a lot of blocks per ball game, 13th in the country in that department, 4th in the SEC. This is a team that's got a lot of talent, and I think this is a team that's very deep this season. You look at the roster, Connor.
A lot of young talent, too, Ty.
Exactly,
I want to point that out as well.
Exactly. You talk about young talent, I talk about Madison Francis, who has been absolutely fantastic. Had a really good ball game in that win over Pitt, and that's what we'll talk about now is the win over Pitt. Mississippi State defeated the Panthers 79-44 in the SEC ACC Challenge here on Thursday night. Dominated that ball game. Didn't really play as good in the fourth quarter, but it didn't really matter. Bulldogs outscored Pitt 20-8 in the first quarter, Connor, 22-6 in the second quarter, and 28-14 in the third quarter. Shot 45%, made 7 threes. Only 8 turnovers in that game, which I mentioned was a big improvement, and they forced 18 turnovers and capitalized off of those from Pitt. 23 points off of those turnovers. Talk about Madison Francis, right? Had her first double-double in that ball game in her career as a freshman. McFall had a career high of 22 points in that one. Wade Dozie also produced in that one in only 18 minutes of play, 14 points and 7 rebounds. A lot of talent on this team. I think this is a team that's about 8 deep when you just look at the roster. What have you seen, at least from a roster standpoint, Connor?
Well, you talk about what the players have done specifically, but what has this group done as a whole? You look at last game against Pitt, and you look at what that has looked at overall, the Bulldogs. You had talk about SEC ACC tournament. We've had it the past week for men's and women's, but SEC, super deep. We talked about it earlier. You're 9th in shooting just about in your conference. You won 13-3 in your ACC SEC challenge, and you dominated, like you said earlier, 79-44 against Pitt. Now, those 14 points that you held Pitt in the first half, that's tied for the fewest amount of points an MSU opponent has scored in the first half this season. Really, what you're doing well this season is you're starting off so strong. That's offensively and defensively. I want to say in the first half, more specifically the first quarter, but we got to figure out how we can play more complete. We got to figure out how we can close out games. Because for me, Ty, I should see 9-0 right now. I don't want to see that 1. It makes me feel like we're missing something, and we are missing something because we're not playing complete enough. So I just want to see the Bulldogs and the roster kind of play more complete tonight.
Again, I think that's a good point, at least in terms of the one game we did lose, and it's a game that maybe a lot of Mississippi State fans think we should not have lost. Yeah, we just did not play complete in that ball game. At times this season, we've struggled to play complete basketball games, but we've come up with 8 wins. But in that one loss, played so well in that first quarter and could not replicate that at all in the final 3. Too many turnovers in that one, and only scored 31 points compared to the 31 you scored in the first quarter alone. So I think you make a good point with that. Got to continue to play complete, especially when we get closer to SEC play. This is a game tonight where you probably should win the basketball game. Didn't look at the spread. You're probably favored by a lot. You're favored by 24.5 to Pitt, and you covered that with ease. So this is a ball game where you're probably favored heavily. Charlotte, coming in struggling off of 2 losses, right, in that Cayman Islands Classic. So I think Mississippi State's got a really, really good opportunity tonight to continue to roll, get a lot of players playing. State got a lot of players playing in that Pitt game. See if we can do that tonight. And talking about players, we're now going to give you the starting lineups as we near tip-off here at the Humphrey Coliseum. So I'll start out with Charlotte's, and then we'll let Connor give you Mississippi State's starting lineup. So starting for the 49ers at guard is going to be Zoe Best, 10.2 points per game on the season for her. Then at guard is going to be Princess Anderson, 14.9 points per game on the year for her. That leads all 49ers. And then the last guard in this starting lineup is going to be Imani Smith. At forward is going to be Ajane Nicholson, 5.6 points per game and 7.1 rebounds per game. And then Genevia Gage, will round out the order and the lineup for Charlotte. 4.1 rebounds, ball game, 3.8 points per game. Let's hear Mississippi State starting.
Yeah,
lineup.
You're talking about those points per game. I'm going to hit you with a couple too, because it really seems like that 49ers team is just about 2 players deep. Let's see what Mississippi State has. Destiny McFall starting off as your guard, number 2. She's 12.8 points per game on the season. That's leading the Bulldog. Trayana Crisp, your number 2. That's 7.3 points per game. Chandler Prater's your 3. That's 9.3 on the season. Favor Wadozie, 11.7. And then Madison Francis at your 5, 11.8. So you got a lot of Bulldogs averaging double digits on the season for points. And then you talk about Madison Francis a lot. I kind of wanted to point something out. You rank 4th in the SEC and 13th nationally with 6.2 blocks per game. A lot of that is credited to her. She leads the charge with 28 total blocks and ranks 1st in the SEC and 4th nationally with 3.1 per game. I had to glaze her just a little bit right there, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, she's been fantastic this season in her freshman year, and she draws the start once again. Favor Wadozie, you mentioned, too, 11.7 points per game, but also 9.3 rebounds a ball game. So she has rebounded the basketball really well and has really been a presence inside for Mississippi State. So that's your pregame show, and we'll flow right into the ball game. Mississippi State in all white, maroon trim, and a maroon script State across the front. Charlotte in their green jerseys with gold trim and gold Charlotte across the front. So we're just about set for tip here. Mississippi State looking to move to 9-1 and defeat the Charlotte 49ers. So should be a good one for State tonight. Should be a ball game where the Bulldogs should handle business. Waiting for tip-off here. Yes, just waiting for the TV people. And we get the thumbs up from the TV guy, I guess I can say. And for lack of a better term, ball tipped up in the air, and State wins the tip. It's Destiny McFall with the basketball now to Trayana Crisp, who brings it up into the front court for the Bulldogs. Now Chandler Prater. Prater with it, driving right side, shoots from the right side short corner. That one short off the wedge of the glass in the rim, and a rebound for Charlotte. Smith is up the floor now for the 49ers. They're driving inside, stops at the free throw line, gives it out. Now they kick into the corner. It's Anderson with it. Shoots, and her shot good from three. Good start for the 49ers as Anderson nails the three to start the ball game.
Kind of lacking on perimeter D right there. Got to tighten up just a little bit.
Crisp with the basketball offensively for Mississippi State. Now to Wadozie near the free throw line. Lost her dribble a little bit, gives it off to Dessa McFall. McFall moving left side, kicks corner, trying to Crisp, trying to answer with a three of her own, and she does.
Answers back. There we go. That's what I like to see.
3-3, almost a minute through in this first quarter. Bulldogs and 49ers. Gage with the basketball now to Nicholson. Nicholson with it at the top of the key, that's Anderson driving right side, goes up with a layup, and she scores 5 quick points for her, and she controls all scoring in the ball game for Charlotte.
Still got to tighten up on D.
Crisp moving right side, goes inside to Wadozie, trying to go to work on Gage. Wadozie still with it, a fading shot off back iron or off glass, no good. Ball cleaned up and rebounded by Prater and put back up for a score. 8.5 and counting to go in the first quarter. 5-5 our score here from the hump. Gage with the basketball. Now to the top to Ajahnay Nicholson. Now they've got it to Smith. Smith tried to throw it up top to Anderson. She lost it but retained it. Almost was a Mississippi State steal. 10 on the shot clock. Anderson still with it, driving on Madison Francis, and a swat from Francis. And she stares her down. We talked about that just before the ball game started. Francis leading the SEC in total blocks, I believe, and 3.1 blocks a game. She gets one there.
I knew I needed to mention it.
Smith will inbound for Charlotte, gets it in to Best. Best driving inside, lost the basketball, to steal for State. It goes into the hands of Francis, now down the floor to Crisp. Crisp stops in transition, passes off to Wadozie, and a right-hand layup is good. Good transition work from Mississippi State, and they have their first lead of the game at 7-5.
And that's teach tape right there.
Down the floor is Charlotte. It's Anderson with it. All 5 points of the game for the 49ers. She's now guarded by Wadozie. Picked up her dribble. 15 on the shot clock. Now to the top. Ball fought for, and a foul on, who's it going to go on? It's going to be a push on Charlotte's Imani Smith. Both Smith and Trina Crisp of Mississippi State were fighting for the basketball. Crisp had a little bit more of it, and they ended up giving Smith a push. So a first foul on Charlotte, and State has the basketball. Good defense from the Bulldogs after a couple of scores on the opening possessions for Charlotte. Crisp with it up the floor for Mississippi State. Spinning, now gives it out to McFall. McFall moving left side, coming off a career-high 22 points. Left-hand layup, no good. Rebound Wadozie. She goes up on a wild shot, is no good. Rebound for Gage of Charlotte. Now down the floor, here comes the 49ers. Anderson with it, now top of the key. Now they swing it right wing to Best. Best now top of the key again to Smith. Smith will set up the offense, moving right now, 16 on the shot clock, near the right wing, gets a screen. Moving left is, Smith, and she goes up with a layup, and it's good. So a nice possession there from Imani Smith. She ties the ball game back up at 7. Francis with it, now to Prater on the left wing. Prater driving inside, and a nice step inside the lane and a finish on the right side of the glass, and State takes the lead back.
Looked a little Euro to me, Ty.
A good move there inside. Now Charlotte has it. This game has been back and forth to start. Ball on the left wing. Imani Smith with it. Now they get it all the way to Anderson, who drives inside right side and goes up with the layup and scores. Anderson with a great game to start this one. 7 of Charlotte's 9 points, leading all scorers. State down the floor, 9-9 ties, 6:20 to go in the first quarter. Prater inside, has some space, will kick back out. Crisp, a left wing three, up good. Crisp early on, 2 for 2 from behind the three-point line, and she nails one there to give State a 3-point lead.
Could we say that three-point looked a little crisp?
It did. Nice wordplay right there. 12-9 Bulldogs coming up on 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Smith with the basketball, picked up her dribble, now looking to kick out. She gets it to Best on the right wing. Now to Nicholson, who tries a right elbow J. No good. Rebound State's Wadozie. Prater now up the floor to McFall. McFall along the left side. Nice Euro into the lane, but the layup no good. There's a nice move into the lane, and she's been great with her ball handling this season, but couldn't get the layup to fall. It's still 12-9 Lady Dogs. Smith with it. Now over to the left wing, 3 ball from Zoe Best. Ball rattles around the rim of the backboard. It's no good. Ball fought for and a jump ball. And both girls rolling. That was Francis and Asiane Nicholson on the tie-up. They're rolling around on the floor. Jump ball is going to keep it with Charlotte. So Charlotte will check in a couple of their players off the bench. They'll bring in Hayes, Daphne White, and couldn't quite catch the other one. It's Karen Nemo. Inside the White, who just checked in the game off of the inbound, and she travels as she tries to go up the floor, and she's complaining to the ref, but that's not going to give them the ball back.
I just love watching Madison Francis, man. She is such a good all-around basketball player, boxing out every single and fighting for the ball. I love to see it.
Chris with it offensively for State. Now on the right wing, looks inside to Wadozie, who had the defense sealed, and a layup for favor Wadozie. 14-9 Bulldogs. Up the floor is Tanasia Hayes. Just checked into the ball game. Graduate guard out of Charlotte, North Carolina, so a hometown kid playing for her hometown team. Throw inside to White. She's trying to go up with one, and good defense from Wadozie as she stands tall, and the shot no good. State down the floor. Now to McFall, wide open, top of the key. 3 ball up, 3 ball no good. Rebound Nicholson of Charlotte. Now up the floor to Hayes. Hayes driving right side on Madison Francis, kicks into the corner. Nemo fakes a 3, drives inside the three-point line, tries a long 2. It's no good. And a jump ball on the floor is going to go back to Mississippi State. Prater and Nicholson were tied up with it, and Prater actually threw Nicholson across the floor into the baseline.
I wouldn't say through. I think a better term for that would be slung. She slung her with that basketball, and neither girl was letting go.
You're right, and but ball going to go with Mississippi State. So a turnover for Charlotte, their third. Mississippi State so far through these first 5 minutes and change has not turned the basketball over. They lead 14-9 as we're at the under 5 timeout. 4:35 to play in the first quarter. What have you seen so far overall in this game, Connor?
The one thing that I have noticed that I wish we could, you tightened up on D when I was telling you to up here in the first couple possessions, so you did great that way, but you're trying to score way too fast. You have time on the shot clock. You can reset your offense and start from square one. I'm not seeing enough of that. You're trying to rush your offense. When you rush your offense, you make mistakes. This is when we take the turnovers into consideration. That's where that becomes a problem. When you try to rush your offense, you're not able to calmly and collect your offense enough to say, hey, this is what we're going to do on this drive, and you got to reset it. You have time on the shot clock. You don't have to rush every single offensive possession. When you feel rushed, like I said, mistakes happen. I would love to see a little bit more reset on their offense if I was Mississippi State.
Well, I will say, their offense has fared okay to start this game. I'd at least say better than okay. State just continuing to maintain a fast pace of offense, but Bulldogs shooting 50% through the first 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So really good, 6 of 12 from the field, also 2 of 3 from behind the three-point line. So the Bulldogs doing well, also capitalizing off of Charlotte turnovers. 3 turnovers for Charlotte and 4 points off of those turnovers for Mississippi State. Talked about Charlotte has struggled and State's tightened up on defense as of late. Charlotte 0 of their last 4 from the field as we're at this media timeout. So, and Mississippi State's going to have the basketball back with a chance to take their biggest lead of the ball game. I think State's played well so far. Charlotte came out fighting, right? Hit that early 3. A couple of nice buckets from Princess Anderson. She has played really well in the ball game, has given a great spark to Charlotte, and fired that bench up, fired all of her girls up. So, but I think State has weathered the storm so far, continued to shoot the basketball well. They've been I'd say fairly efficient offensively. I mean, shooting 50% is pretty dadgum good. And they've capitalized off of turnovers. The only other thing I would like to say, dominate a little bit more on the boards. You're losing the rebound battle 6-5, but that's a little picky just early in the ball.
Well, I was being nitpicky as well when I talked about resetting your offense, and you're doing great numbers-wise offensively, but when you talk about Mississippi State's offense, the name you hear is Destiny McFall. She's got to get hot. Right now, she's 0 for 3 from the field. She missed a three-point earlier. She's got to get hot. She's got to get going, because if Destiny McFall's not hot, I'm not saying that Mississippi State doesn't have a lot of other weapons, but when you talk about offense, you usually hear Destiny McFall. So she needs to kind of get her gears rolling and show Charlotte who she is.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it'd be great to have her with a little bit of more offensive success in this one. But coming off that great game against Pitt, 22 points, a career high. Her teammates are picking her up at least in this ball game. So both teams will come out of the timeout. Different lineup for Mississippi State as they're going to take it down the floor. It's Sanaya King, Destin McFall, Jayla Lampley, Madison Francis, and Favor Wadozie. State beats the press. It's McFall down the floor, and right as we just talked about her, she goes up with a left-handed contested layup and scores.
I think they're listening to me up here, Ty, because every time I talk about something, they just fix it right away.
Charlotte down the floor now. It's Nemo with the basketball. Working inside on McFall, gets it out to White. White now back out to Nemo, tries a long right wing three, had to lean in for that one, and the shot no good. A tough physical rebound from Sanaya King. King down the floor, gives it off to McFall, now into the corner, or tried to throw into the corner was McFall. Ball knocked out of bounds, intended for Jayla Lampley. That was Zoe Best who knocked it out of bounds. Possession will stay with Mississippi State. Bulldogs on a 7-0 run over the last 2+ minutes. Ball inbounded to Wadozie, now handed back off to Sanaya King. King had 8 points in that last ball game in the win over Pitt. King with it now on the right wing, 13 on the shot clock, a throw inside to Wadozie, working on the right side block, goes up with the right hand, high off the glass, and threw that one up, and it went in.
And that's what you want from your girls down low. Exactly right there. You can make them high off the glass.
18-9 Mississippi State. Wadozie with 6 now. Shot blocked, I believe, by Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs down the floor. It's McFall now moving right off of a screen, gets it right wing to Jayla Lampley. Lampley working left, a spin right side now, goes up with a layup, and it falls in. Man, a couple of great possessions for Mississippi State and a timeout for Charlotte. Bulldogs on an 11-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 57 seconds, and with 3:20 to play here in this first quarter, MSU leads Charlotte 20-9.
I believe what they say is Lampley got a little jelly with that one. She kind of did a little spin move, kind of got her own little layup going on, and man, that was some good offensive work. And I mean, I think the name of the game, and every time I get on one of these basketball broadcasts, I usually say one phrase, and it seems like it's happening today, is every dog's eating today, Ty. You know what I like to say when it comes to that. I mean, we have even the substitutes coming in, like Lampley making some plays, and finally Destin McFall made a basket. So, man, everybody's just playing great, and they're listening to me up here, you know.
We talked about that young talent. I mean, Lampley also another one of the freshmen on this team. State with that recruiting class last season, second highest recruiting class in MSU history behind one of Vic Schaefer's classes. So, Mississippi State, a great recruiting class, and Jayla Lampley and Madison Francis have been fantastic for State so far this season. Lampley, with 2 in this one. Francis with no points, but has a rebound and a block as well. She's played some good defense.
If you can play basketball, you can play basketball. I don't mean if you a freshman, you in high school, you sitting on the couch, you can play it, and that's what Mississippi State got out here. Some basketball players.
So out of the timeout, Charlotte going to take it down the floor. Bulldogs lead 20-9 over the 49ers. Swing it all the way in the corner. Princess Anderson will try 3. Shot's no good. Tough rebound from Madison Francis, and State will bring it down the floor. McFall along the left side. Passes to Francis, top of the key. Now to the left wing to Carissa Richardson, who just checked into the game. She's more closer now to the free throw line. 16 on the shot clock. Richardson takes her first dribble. Will hand off to King, or look to hand off to King. And a illegal screen technically on Mississippi State's Carissa Richardson. She was looking to hand off there, and just as she was handing off and running through the handoff, got contact on a Charlotte defender, so a turnover for State there first.
Well, that's okay. I like to see kind of like starting off from the top of the key. That was somewhat of a reset. You just couldn't execute.
State with a couple of changes on the floor. It's Sanaya King, Triana Crisp, Jayla Lampley, Madison Francis, and Carissa Richardson. That's your 5 on the floor for the Lady Bulldogs. Charlotte with it now. It's Hayes. Now looking inside, a nice pass inside to Staley, and her shot is just no good. Missed a bunny right there. Under 2.5 to play in the first quarter, 20-9 Bulldogs. Sanaya King with it, looking to pass. That one a lazy pass stolen away by Anderson. She goes down the floor and misses the layup. Ball fought for, rebounded by Charlotte's Tanasia Hayes, and her layup is good. So they clean it up. 20-11 is the score. 2:15 to go in the first quarter, and I believe Sam Purcell calls a timeout. Just kind of wondering where the effort was from his defense there in transition play. Hayes came back just with nobody guarding her. King was the only one defending down there for Mississippi State. And Hayes ended up cleaning that missed layup up and makes it 20-11.
Yes, and I was going to clarify. When you said 20-11 the first time, it kind of sounded like you said 22, so I just wanted to make sure it's 20-11. And even though the gap is 9 points, it feels like you're getting a little lazy offensively. And with that pass, it just seemed a little lazy. So you really got to tighten up. You got to remember who you are. You're Mississippi State. You're playing for Mississippi State. You're playing for a really, really good recruiting class, trying to make a name for yourself out here and do some business. You got to take care of business. So we can't get lazy. We got to keep it going, and here we go.
2 turnovers in the last 2 possessions for State. Yep, definitely got to clean it up offensively. That's well said there, Connor. State has it down the floor. And now it looks like to be another turnover. Ball loose on the floor. State comes up with it, but a throwaway. Now down the floor, it's Princess Anderson. A right-handed layup up and good with Carissa Richardson on her back. No foul called, but the layup falls. 20-13 now.
That was close.
State with 3 turnovers in their last 3 possessions, and the Bulldogs look to find some success now offensively after the great start to the quarter. Richardson with the basketball, working inside, tries a fading shot with the right hand, and it falls near the block. A really good shot from Richardson, who's really good on her fadeaway, Jays, and that one fell. That was more of a fadeaway hook shot. 22-13, 125 and counting to go in the first quarter. State with the lead. Get it to the top of the key to Teal. And now Hayes with the basketball. Teal just checked into the game for Charlotte. Now Hayes will try a long 2. It does not fall. Rebounded by McFall of State. McFall streaking down the middle of the floor. McFall all the way to the rim. Goes up. Her shot short. Ball fought for and rebounded by Charlotte. A 2-on-1 fast break for the 49ers down the floor to Anderson, who goes up with a left-handed layup and scores. Anderson 9 points in the game, leading all scorers, 22-15. Under a minute now to play in the first quarter. We're at 48 seconds and counting. State with it offensively. It's Lampley, a long left wing 3, no good. Early shot in the shot clock for State. And it does not work out for them as Charlotte going to get the basketball back. They'll check in a couple of players. Zoe Best and Genevia Gage are going to check in.
And that was really smart right there to let the ball go out of bounds so your substitutions can come in and give a little bit of other players a rest.
Imani Smith started the game for Charlotte. She's bringing it down the floor. And ball knocked away, saved back in bounds by Prater, but they're going to say that Prater's foot was on the out-of-bounds line before she saved it. So a sideline inbound for Charlotte. Smith going to inbound, gets it to Teal now, back to Smith. Smith working on Chris, 27 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shot clock is on, it's at 10. Princess Anderson again, she'll try a shot that does not fall from the free throw line, an air ball. State up the floor with the shot clock off, most likely going to try and take the last shot of the first quarter. 12 seconds and counting again, shot clock off, State up 22-15. McFall gets a screen from her left side from Richardson. Now 5 on the clock. Richardson with another screen. McFall moving left off of the screen. Goes up with a wild left-hand layup and scores it from the left side block. She shot that one from around her hip, and it falls, and a buzzer beater for Mississippi State's Destiny McFall. And it puts the Bulldogs out in front by 9, 24-15 as we head to the second quarter here and a break from quarter number 1.
She looks a little ambidextrous. I mean, you wouldn't know what shooting hand would be the one that she plays with predominantly. I mean, she shoots from the right, she shoots from the left. Either way, it goes in. Only thing I can say is I'm still seeing a little bit of that rush. I kind of want to clean up that rush so that you can kind of run your offense a little bit more comfortably. When Destiny McFall had that missed shot earlier when she tried to go up against 2 defenders and draw a foul, it just wasn't successful. It's because it was rushed, Ty. You still had over 25 seconds worth of clock for your shot clock. I don't want to see rush. And when you have such a good first quarter and you start off good like you did against Texas Tech, you start to become lazy. You start to become rushed, and then you end up scoring 1 point or however many points. Single-digit points the next quarter, and I just don't want to see that. I want to see continued success throughout the game so that we can play more complete.
Well, State was able to continue that success in their win over Pitt. Actually, scoring more in this game in the first quarter than they did against Pitt. Scored 20 in the first quarter against Pitt. They've scored 24 in this first quarter, but State continued that success with scoring 22 in the second quarter and 28 in the third in that win over Pitt on Thursday. So see if State can continue to do that. The only thing that really has bothered me, at least for State, for the first 6.5, 7 minutes of the ball game, State did a really good job of keeping control of the basketball, taking care of the basketball, and a couple of turnovers, 3 turnovers in 3 straight possessions there around the 3-minute mark for Mississippi State and the 2-minute mark for Mississippi State, which kind of allowed Charlotte to, have a closer, or this be a closer ball game than maybe we would think it would be. State gave Charlotte some opportunities off of turnovers. Charlotte scored 4 points off of State's 3 turnovers.
I would love to see. Now, she's playing a great ball game, and I can't talk about her enough. Madison Francis. She's not playing, if you notice it, she's not playing down low a lot offensively. Now, she doesn't have any boards offensively. She's got 2 defensive boards. She's got two rebounds, and the 1 block. She's playing a great defensive game. They're not getting her involved in the offense. I wonder why. Maybe because Waydozie's doing really all the work down low, but you're not incorporating her. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying you're playing great even with her not being incorporated down low offensively.
The look for her this season has been more so not really a pure down low scorer, but really versatile. She's been a player that's really been prone to trying to drive the basketball a lot. She just hadn't had those looks in this ball game. I'm sure they'll open up, and if not, State's got scores that can match the production that she's been having over the last couple of games. Every player but Sanaya King and Madison Francis in this one with points for Mississippi State. So the points have been really spread around is what I'm trying to say for State. And then on the flip side of that, Charlotte, 9 points from Anderson, and then only 2 points from Smith and Nemo, and then also Hayes to make up the scoring. So scoring has been rather focused for Charlotte. We'll head now into the second quarter. Charlotte has the basketball to start. It's Smith with it. Now top of the key to Nemo. Just talking about her. She has 2 points in the ball game. Driving right side, now spinning on Crisp. Got Crisp to jump, but her shot did not fall. Crisp was able to get back and at least have a hand in the face of Nemo, and State turns away Charlotte in the opening possession of the second quarter. Waydozie with it, trying to back down White. They kick out to Prater. Prater fakes a jump shot from the three-point line, drives into the lane, and a shot no good from her, but Waydozie cleans it up with a score of her own. Now Waydozie with 8 points in the game, leading all Bulldogs. 26-15, Mississippi State. White with the basketball. Now to Smith. Smith on the left wing, 15 on the shot clock. They get it now to Best. Best looking inside to White. Kind of a wild pass. Fault for. Still being fought for. Smith comes up with it. She drives inside and somehow got the layup to fall. That was a nice layup from Imani Smith, and Charlotte cuts the lead back to 9. Crisp with it. Dribbles left, and now to Prater. Prater goes inside, and Francis trying to work down low, and the pass just a little long for Francis. Francis got a fingertip or two on it, but went off of her fingertips and traveled out of bounds. Make sure everybody knows, on the floor for State, it's McFall, Crisp, Prater, Francis, and Waydozie, the starting 5 for Mississippi State originally. Charlotte with it, it's Nicholson. Now to the right wing to Best. Best looking down low, hadn't taken a dribble. She goes now, drives the right side short corner, now kicks it out to Nicholson. Now they swing it all the way to the top of the key to Smith. 5 on the shot clock. Charlotte got to go. Jump shot blocked by Madison Francis, and State down the floor. Francis now with 2 blocks in the ball game. A throw inside looking for Francis. No good. Ball saved back in bounds to Mississippi State, and a foul called on Charlotte. Not on the shot, I don't believe.
It appeared to be on the floor, but one thing I'll say is they are letting them play, Ty. They're really not calling much out there.
Yeah, they really haven't. 1 foul for Mississippi State so far in this one, and 2 fouls for Charlotte. That's for the ball game. Now in this quarter, Charlotte has 1, Mississippi State with none. So they're sorting out, referee talking with head coach Tamika Reed of Charlotte. I guess trying to sort out what that foul was. Crisp going to trigger a baseline inbound in. Tried to get it into Francis, and just a careless pass throws the ball away. Down the floor is Hayes. Hayes stops and starts driving back into the lane, ends up spinning around and fading from the right side short corner. Her shot falls to make it 26-19. 5 turnovers now for Mississippi State. Got to keep that number low. Crisp hands off McFall. McFall will go to work, gets a screen from Wadozie to her right, kicks all the way to Francis, left wing, 3-ball up, no good, off back iron, ball fought for, rebounded by Favor Wadozie, but she couldn't take a dribble before she drug her back foot and a travel on Wadozie. Mississippi State's 6th turnover and 3 turnovers in the last 1 minute and 47 seconds for MSU.
And you're losing that battle. Charlotte only has 3 on the night, so you gotta tighten it up, clean it up.
It has helped Charlotte stay into this ball game. They've outscored State 4-2 here in this second quarter, and they trail Mississippi State by 7. 7:24 to go in the second quarter. Charlotte with it on the right wing now inside of the right side block. It's Gage with it, backing down Wadozie, going to work, and her shot off glass and off rim, no good. Rebound Prater of State. Prater taking the ball along the right side, stops at the right wing, drives towards the left to the left elbow, spins inside the lane near the restricted area arc. Shot rattles around the rim and falls through the net. 28-19 Bulldogs. Under 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Hayes with it. Crosses over and will try a 3 off of the crossover. It's no good. Ball rebounded again by Chandler Prater of Mississippi State. Prater tried to go behind the back, lost it off of her calf, but ends up retaining it. State's got to get it across the floor, and just a careless pass throwing it over the head of Francis, and a turnover for Mississippi State. Now Hayes with it offensively for Charlotte on the left wing. 20 on the shot clock, 6.5 to play in the second quarter. Hayes moving right side, guarded by Prater. Now a kick to Best, now to the free throw line. Now they tried to kick it outside, and it's stolen away by State. Francis down the floor. Nice Euro inside the lane to her right, and a right-handed layup falls for MSU.
She finally got her some there, Ty.
Francis with her first points of the night. Mississippi State 30, Charlotte 19. A couple of Bulldogs looking to check in there at the scorers table. Carissa Richardson and Lampley going to come in at the next dead ball. Also Sanaya King. Charlotte with the basketball. It's Best. Now to Smith. Getting a screen, moving to her right, driving on Prater. Goes up with a layup, no good, but she was fouled by Chandler Prater. And it's Prater's first and the team's first. And it will send the 49ers to the line. 3 Bulldogs will check in. Jayla Lampley, Sanaya King, and Carissa Richardson. Checking out is going to be Trina Crisp, Favor Wadozie, and Chandler Prater. So in the game for State, it's Sanaya King, Destiny McFall, Jayla Lampley, Madison Francis, and Carissa Richardson. At the line for Charlotte is Amani Smith as Charlotte trails your Bulldogs 30-19. Smith, a graduate out of Huron, Georgia, and misses the first free throw. Charlotte has struggled from the free throw line this season, but Smith, one of the better shooters on this team from the charity stripe, coming into the game at 88%. She misses both, and that should have maybe been a foul on Nicholson pulling down Richardson of State, but no foul called. State does get it down the floor. McFall is blocked down on the other end, and but got too much of the body there, so a foul on Charlotte, and Destiny McFall going to go to the line. Team's second foul, that foul on Caitlin Staley. That is Staley's first. And so down Destiny McFall at the line to shoot 2. McFall, an 81% free throw shooter on the year, went 4 of 4 from the charity stripe in her last ball game, misses her first. McFall, one of the 3 returners on this team from last season, a redshirt senior out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And her second one just rattles home, so she goes 1 for 2 from the line, 31-19 State. Charlotte up the floor quickly, looking to throw it inside, and Anderson had it knocked out of bounds by Mississippi State, so possession will stay with the 49ers.
Mississippi State's playing a little scrappy now. I'm loving it. You got to take advantage of the calls they're doing out on the court, because they ain't making many.
Charlotte will inbound in front of the Bulldog bench into Princess Anderson, who leads Charlotte with 9 points. Leads all scorers in this one. She still has it at the top of the key, 16 on the shot clock. Picks up her dribble, gives it to Hayes, now cross court into the left side corner to Best, and her three ball is good. All nylon there, 31-22.
And that wasn't even a lack of perimeter D. She just hit a great shot.
And it was a good skip pass cross court to find the open Best. Now Lampley with it for Mississippi State on the left wing. Hop step inside to the left block and a nice left-handed layup. A couple of great finishes for Mississippi State at the rim in this one, and that was another one. State with a 33-22 lead. Now State picking up a double team in the backcourt. They get it cross court to Best. Best driving inside, a right-handed layup up and no good. Ball tipped out, rebounded by Francis. Francis dribbling left will try a transition three, no good. Maybe not the best of decisions from Francis, who hasn't really shot the three ball well all season. Now, meanwhile, on the other way, Princess Anderson scores in transition with a left-handed layup to make it 33-24. Sanaya King down the floor for Mississippi State. King with no points in the ball game has played 4 minutes. Does have 2 rebounds. King now to Lampley on the left wing, looking down to the left side short corner to Richardson. Richardson with 2 points in this one. Gives it all the way out to McFall. Deep right wing, tries a three that's no good. Rebound, Jayla Lampley. Lampley backing down on the left side, blocking a charge called as she lowered the shoulder on Charlotte's Tanasia Hayes. Had a mismatch underneath and instead lowered the shoulder, which drew the charge. And that's going to send us to the under 5 timeout. 4:06 to go in the second quarter. Mississippi State leads Charlotte 33-24.
What I'm noticing here, Ty, is not that there's a lack of facilitators. There's a lack of kind of one of them. You know, when you look at great basketball teams, they have that one facilitator. And that's what Mississippi State women's do not have right now. I feel like it's kind of the role is scrambled amongst the team. And so each of them are trying to fulfill a role that only one of them need to fulfill. And I don't think it's a lack of team chemistry necessarily, but we need to figure out who's going to facilitate the basketball, because when you get the rebound, it always feels like there's someone different taking it down the court every time. For me, I don't like that. I personally do not like that, because now we don't have an established role on the court, Ty. This is why you see so many people taking it down and trying to do everything for themselves, because we don't have a facilitator role. We don't have somebody that can reset. That's why we're seeing that lack of reset, which I've been griping on the whole basketball game. I got to have that facilitator role, and we got to figure out who that's going to be. And I don't know who that is, Ty.
Well, I mean, through this first quarter and then about, trying to do the math in my head, 5 minutes and 40 or 54 seconds? Is that right? Or is it 4 minutes, 54 seconds?
You know, you should be an accountant major.
Either one. Yeah, that's not a good idea. 4:06 to go in the second quarter. So through all this first half is what I should say. State, still shooting 56% from the field. They're shooting 50% from the field in this quarter. And the thing is, too, is it's kind of looked sloppy in the ballgame for Mississippi State. I mean, 8 turnovers in the ballgame so far, 5 of those coming in the second quarter. So Bulldogs have kind of, it feels like they haven't looked their best, but they're still having a great offensive output just because they're shooting the basketball so well.
Well, I become so nitpicky because we're, in the grand scheme of things, we're close to conference play. It might not look like it now, but before you know it, conference play will come to the horizon. Right now, your turnover percentage is 26%. That's over 1 in every 4 possessions. You're turning the ball over. You have to clean that up, because right now you're giving Charlotte too many opportunities. And it doesn't matter if Charlotte cannot capitalize. You give them too many opportunities, they're going to find a way to make the ball go through the net. And recently, that's been the story for Charlotte. Their 24 points, the majority of that has come from this quarter. They're figuring out how to play offense against you because you're giving them too many opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, 9 points in this quarter so far as we're at the under 5 timeout for Charlotte, but they're shooting the ball well, very efficient, 44% from the field in this quarter, 50% from behind the arc. So, State, you gotta recognize, Charlotte's going to make you pay if you continue to turn the basketball over, and I think we've seen that so far in this one. An even second quarter, both teams scoring 9 points, and it's 33-24 as both teams are going to break from their huddles. 4:06 now on the clock to go in the second quarter. Breaking out of the huddle for Mississippi State on the floor, it's Sanaya King, Dessa McFall, Chandler Prater, Jayla Lampley, and Carissa Richardson. Charlotte's going to have the basketball before the under 5. Jayla Lampley had an offensive charge called on her.
Playing a little full court there. I don't mind it.
Full court from State. Smith takes it down the floor for man-to-man defense for the Bulldogs. Smith moving right side, gets a double screen. Now picks up her dribble, gives it all the way to Anderson in the right corner, dribbles it up to the right wing. Looking inside to White, a high-low for Charlotte. And White converts with a score. 33-26, Mississippi State. King goes cross-court to Lampley, who's been good from 3 this season, and her shot just rattles out around the rim and out. An empty possession for State. Down the floor is Anderson. Stops her dribble, gave it right to Mississippi State. Jayla Lampley down the floor. Stops at the elbow, got to give it up, gives it to Sanaya King, and King will give it to McFall, who is open from 3. Instead, tries to drive inside. A left-handed floater from the SEC logo falls.
And that was nice. You pass it up to the top of the key, and McFall did something right there.
Princess Anderson with the basketball, crossing over on Prater. Now taking it back to the left wing, gives it up to Smith now. Smith with the basketball, under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. 15 seconds on the shot clock, and State leads by 9 over Charlotte. Smith still with the basketball, driving right side into the lane, and is fouled by Sanaya King. King with her first personal. And King didn't like that call. I thought King was straight up there, but maybe a little bit of lean into Smith of Charlotte, so a foul there. And did they call that on the shot, or did they call that on the floor? And I think they might be talking about it. And I believe it was a foul called on the floor. It looked like Smith was going to try and lay it in, but they call this one on the floor. State, meanwhile, checks in Wadozie for Richardson. So it's King, McFall, Lampley, Prater, and Wadozie for State. Inbound to Best, who takes it to the left elbow, and her shot's no good. An offensive rebound, though, for Nicholson of Charlotte, and her putback is good, 35-28.
Absolutely no blocking out right there by Mississippi State.
Lampley with it on the right side wing, driving inside, stopped at the right side block, and I believe she traveled, and she did. Good defense down low as Charlotte denying Lampley of any entrance inside the paint, and they get her to travel, so 2.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. State with another turnover, their 9th, and it's going to be Charlotte with the basketball as State leads again by 7, 35-28. King picking up in a full court defense. They get it to Smith off of the inbound, and now Smith will be guarded by Crisp. Smith with it on the right wing, dribbling towards the left, now matched up with Francis. Now they kick to Henderson. Her shot no good. Ball fought for, rebounded by Charlotte, and rebounded again. Goes up with it is Nicholson. She goes up with it, and her shot didn't even really get to the rim, as by the time she jumped and tried to throw it up, it was out of her reach and out of bounds. So State with the basketball. McFall with it now on the right wing. Now inside to Wadozie near the right side block. She tries a jump shot, and it falls, and she was going to follow her shot, too, if she misses. Don't really see her ever take jump shots, but she does there, and that one falls. Smith up the floor. Moving right now, guarded by Destiny McFall on the right wing. Picks up her dribble, looking to throw it away, and it's turned over. Francis with it down the floor. Left-handed layup up. Good, and one. She was fouled by Zoe Best, and her shot fell, and she'll go to the line to try and cap off a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
And that's been the name of the game for Madison Francis. She gets a nice little steal. She goes down the court, and you're not going to stop her. She's going to score it, and now she's going to score some more on the charity stripe, looking for an and one.
Well, I mean, you feel like she had that slow start to the game. Now all of a sudden climbing up in terms of her stats, 6 points and 7 rebounds in the ball game, and also a couple of blocks as well. Francis at the line to shoot to try and convert the and one, and it is good. 7 points for her, coming off her first career double-double in the win over Pitt. 40-28 Bulldogs. Charlotte with some pressure, and State with another turnover. King now to Crisp. Right wing three. No, she won't take it. They throw it inside, and there's a stoppage of play. And I don't know what we stopped play for. State had Francis Wadozie open inside, and I'm trying to read the situation down there. Did you see what happened?
I'm trying to decipher what's going on, too, because I heard a whistle, but I didn't know where the whistle was blowing to.
Well, there was no foul called on the floor.
And it sucks because you were gaining momentum right there.
Well, you
and you
had-
completely just
State threw
halted
it.
it.
State threw it inside to Wadozie, who was wide open, and that would have been a layup. Anyway, State will still have the basketball as they inbound to Francis. Now King with it. Under a minute and a half to play in the second quarter. State up 40-28. 20 on the shot clock. King with the basketball, top of the key. Now kicks it to McFall, wide open. Right wing three up and nylon. 43-28 Bulldogs.
What does Javen say? Threes make cheese?
That's what he says. They did right there. State playing that tough defense again. Charlotte gets it down the floor. It's Hayes with the basketball. Gets a screen, moving left side, driving inside, and has the ball stolen away. King comes up with it. Now she stops, gives it off to McFall. Under a minute to play here in the first half. Stayed up 43-28 on an 8-0 run over the last minute plus. Crisp with the basketball near the E in the Mississippi State logo. Now to Wadozie on the right wing. 12 on the shot clock. Wadozie with it now to Crisp. Wadozie will replace herself back inside the paint. Crisp goes up with a wild right-handed layup. It is no good, and a foul called on the layup attempt. So Crisp is going to go to the line to shoot two.
And here's your chance to kind of get your free throw percentage up. You're 67 from the charity stripe, so you got to kind of get that up. I don't mind in the 60s, but I'd love it to be over the 70 number.
Well, they haven't shot that many.
Yeah.
Just in general, State has only shot 3, and they've made 2. A couple of players will check in and out for both teams. Trying to Crisp at the line for State. She has 6 in this one. And her first is good. Crisp, coming to Mississippi State from North Carolina, had 8 points in the win over Pitt, averaging 7 points per ball game, and has been fantastic from the charity stripe at 90%. But she makes both to make it a 45-28 Bulldog lead. Charlotte quickly down the floor playing with some pace. They get it to Anderson, who lays it up. Her shot no good, but she was fouled, so Anderson going to go to the line to shoot 2.
They love to throw up shots and draw fouls. That's what I've been noticing down here.
Well, they've been trying to play quick to break Mississippi State's press. State has picked up that press here recently over the past couple of minutes in the second quarter. They've been trying to play quick to break that press.
Did they just do a football huddle on the basketball court? Did you notice that? I think all of them clapped simultaneously and kind of went off to their own positions.
Well, generally, that's a lot of teams do the whole huddle thing. Meanwhile, Anderson, taking her free throws, missed the second one, made the first one. Well, she gets up there and shoots up quick. That give you a lot of time to breathe. State with the basketball, 24 on the game clock and running, about a 4-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Game clock is now at 17, shot clock at 13. King with the basketball, crosses over, moves to the right side elbow. Her jump shot up and no good. Rebound for Charlotte. Charlotte quickly down the floor. Nice transition move and a pass down the floor. Ball saved in bounds from Nicholson, but before she saved it, she was stepped on the baseline. So 45-29 the score, 5.5 seconds to go in the second quarter. State will check in Chandler Prater for Sanaya King as the Bulldogs look to get a last-second jump shot. They made a buzzer beater in the first quarter. See if they can make one here. They roll it. Now to Crisp. Crisp with 4. Crosses the half-court line. 2 on the clock. Crisp looking to get one off. And it's up and no good. I don't think she got it off in time anyways. And that's going to end the first half. Mississippi State up 45-29 over Charlotte. This one has been, it's a 16-point lead for Mississippi State at the break, but it's felt a lot tighter than what it looks like right now. It was tight here in the second quarter, but State with a really good end to the second quarter. They outscore Charlotte 21-14 in this quarter, outscored them 24-15 in the first quarter to take a 45-29 lead into the locker room.
There's a lot that I've noticed by Mississippi State. Obviously, the turnovers have been a little bit of an issue for this game. I want to give you an exact number. That's 9, but they kind of cleaned up the turnover battle, because I believe the margin earlier was around 4 or 5 early on, because Charlotte only had about 3 or 4, and then now it's tied at 9. So you've been playing you've tightened up a lot defensively, which I've liked to see. And 4 turnovers in the last 2 minutes and 39 seconds of the half
for Charlotte. So, yeah, over the course of the end of the half there, State as a team just played really, really well, too. Offensively, State 4 of their last 5. So, a really good close to the second quarter for Mississippi State. It was, both teams had scored 9 points at the under 5 timeout with 4:06 to go in the second quarter. Mississippi State outscores Charlotte 12-5 to end this quarter.
Yes, and you got to continue that throughout the game. We talk about playing complete. Even though it's 45-29, that doesn't mean that's going to be the outcome for the rest of the game. So I'd like to see a little bit more complete. I'd love to talk more about it when it comes to halftime. I'll have some stats on the screen. So if you want to go ahead and do that, we can get some stats on the screen so everybody can see what we're actually discussing.
Well, we'll take a break here in just a moment. Before we take a break, I want to remind everybody again to follow us on our socials on Instagram at Bulldog Student Sports Network, on X at BSSN_MSU. And if you're listening to us right now live on YouTube or coming back and listening to the replay of this one on YouTube, subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel, and also click that notification bell. You'll get instant notifications for when we go live. I always say it's like ringing a cowbell. If you're a State fan, it'll help you now and it'll help you later. Again, you'll get instant notifications of when we go live doing Mississippi State athletic events and when we post our weekly editions of the Bulldog Breakdown. Just posted one yesterday. That'll be the last one for this semester. We'll have some on the back half of the semester. So, you can go check out the most recent one, or even if you want to wait until the next semester and after the New Year's, we'll start pumping those episodes out every week when after the New Year's, so and when we get back from Christmas break. But again, follow us on our socials at BSSN_MSU on X, on Instagram at Bulldog Student Sports Network, and here subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, the Bulldog Student Sports Network. It's 45-29 Mississippi State at the half. And we'll be back in just a moment for the Bulldog Student Sports Network halftime show. You're listening to Mississippi State women's basketball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
Place to be since I was 19. You can find me, maroon and white tee. Stay grinding, you're not on my team to get behind me and stay behind. You will play behind. Man, I'm in a Mississippi state of mind, and this state of mind ain't a greater time. Take a break in line and just take what's mine. It's an our state, our place, and you can see that it's written on our face. This is our break, our race, and if you ain't with it, get out of our way. Now stand up in your seat, sling a cowbell to the beat. Got 3-6 on my cheek, my boy MB gonna rest in peace. We just left it being in cowbell to the wind, and this maroon and white is blending like I'm Two-Face. Harvey Dent and my friends up in the tent, and you know they Mississippi, and we coming for your hearts. So before we start, gonna put a stint in. My state of mind is a place for these dime rhymes to mint, and if you cross the line, that's the place that they're gonna be spent in. I'm looking at the Mississippi women, and the district got me grinning. You step up in the pen, man, you probably gonna get hit. MSU, and we about to roll, and everywhere we go, we taking control. We MSU, and when that whistle blow, you already know that we gonna show. 'Cause we MSU, and we about to roll, and everywhere we go, we taking control. We MSU, and when that whistle blow, you already know that we gonna show. 'Cause we up the star, Vegas, we got that bar, baby. And all ladies breaking hearts, they call it sharp rating. That identity, some crisis left you lifeless like your sparks. They need to decide who y'all move side, 'cause this state is ours, baby. Star crazy coming to pound, man, we drooling. You looking like a new kid in town, you gon' get bullied. You better draw back, bruh, we on the attack, bruh. We dogs of war, we coming forward, you can see that it's written on the dog tag. And we ain't listening to what you think we gon' do, 'cause either way we coming for you. And it don't matter how we do, we gonna stay true. 'Cause that's true maroon and that's through and through. 'Cause from that M-I-S-S-I, now stay from the stands with a plate and my hand full of cheese fries. S-S-I, 'cause I beat me, you know that we believe. Hit the street when we're ready, check me eat on the Yeti, you can see that we're repping
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. This is our halftime show. I'm Ty Goldman alongside Connor Davis. Mississippi State leads 45-29 over Charlotte at the end of 2 here and at the break from the Humphrey Coliseum on the beautiful campus of Mississippi State University in Starkville, Mississippi. So again, Mississippi State up 45-29 here at the break. Bulldogs so far, we'll look at first a statistical comparison between the two teams. You have a graphic up on the stream that you can look at, but we'll go into a little bit more of the stats that are involved that were involved in this first half. So a statistical comparison between the two teams. Mississippi State shot a great 58% from the field, 19 of 33. Charlotte 38% from the field, 13 of 34. Both teams 33% from behind the three-point line. State made 3 and missed on 9 attempts, and Charlotte made 2 on 6 attempts. State 80% from the free throw line, 4 of 5. Charlotte 25%, 1 of 4. Both teams with 9 turnovers. State had 18 off of those 9 for Charlotte, and Charlotte had 8 points off of those 9 turnovers for Mississippi State. State with 22 total rebounds, leading the battle by 7, with Charlotte having 15. State 17 defensive rebounds to Charlotte's 9. Talked about that in the pregame, that Charlotte not that great of a defensive rebounding team, but Charlotte leading on the offensive glass, which they've been good at this season, 6 rebounds to 5. On those 6 rebounds for Charlotte, 4 second chance points for them, and on those 5 offensive rebounds for State, 4 second chance points for the Lady Bulldogs. Both teams with 6 bench points. State with 28 of their 45 first half points in the paint, and Charlotte with 22 of their 29 first half points in the paint. Mississippi State 10 fast break points, 49ers with 7. State with 3 blocks, all those belonging to Madison Francis, I believe, and Charlotte with none. Mississippi State 5 steals, 4 steals for Charlotte, 6 assists for State, 3 assists for Charlotte. Game has been tied 4 times for a total of 1 minute and 53 seconds. Charlotte has led only once in this game for 40 seconds, and Mississippi State led the rest of the way for 17 minutes and 27 seconds. Also, foul-wise, both teams with 5 personal fouls. Whistles have not been blown much here in this first half. So, whole lot of stuff I just mentioned there. There's a comparison between the two teams. Now let's look at our analysis of the first half. First, let's start with Mississippi State's offense. What have you seen from Mississippi State's offense in the first half? State scoring 45 points. Pretty successful, continuing that success that they had in the Pitt game. But one of the glaring things has been the amount of turnovers. State with 9 turnovers in that first half.
Exactly, and this is a team that I've seen struggled offensively, but done a lot offensively as well. This is a team that usually under Sam Purcell does not struggle against the non-con. He's 45-6 in regular season in non-conference play. But you look at what you're doing in offense, and the stats look great, Ty. But when we have to bring analysis into it, you get a little bit of nitpicky. That's why you brought me here today. So I kind of get to show you exactly what I would like for us to do better, and I've kind of brushed over it a couple times. I want to see somebody be a main facilitator, because I feel like that's where you get it wrong. When you have several players trying to fill one role, you see what's happening out here. You make passes that result in turnovers because you're trying to fill a role you're not used to. You have to name somebody a facilitator if you're Sam Purcell, whether that's Destiny McFall, whether that's Chandler Prater. Name somebody that so the rest of the team can go, okay, well, now I know what I need to do when I get down the court. I need to either stay on the wing, I need to go down low. You need to understand your role, because as a team, that's how you fare well against other teams. If everybody does their job the way they're supposed to, you win ball games. And in this one, you're winning. But like I said, when you get into conference play, these are things you have to brush up on. I would love to see everybody find their role here. And there's players that have. I'm not saying everybody hasn't. Find your facilitator. Do a little bit better offensively than you are now, so that when you get into conference play, you can see a number that's 9 shoot up somewhere closer to the top 5 whenever you start winning ball games come conference play.
Well, the Bulldogs back on the floor now, shooting around here with about 3.5 minutes to go until the start of the second half. Some things State has done well, I think, so far in that first half, at least offensively. I think they've done a really good job of driving the basketball and scoring. Seen a lot of great moves inside from multiple different players, and State's been able to drive the basketball and score it really, really well. In fact, 28 of their 45 first half points came from inside the paint, so the Bulldogs have really been good inside and around the paint. State also with 3 field goals from behind the arc, behind the three-point arc, so they've shot it at a decent clip in the first half from the three-point line, so look to see maybe if State takes a little bit more. Some of those jump shots from 3 were a little bit early in the in the shot clock. That is, Madison Francis had one off of a transition or in transition. That was a little bit early, and then maybe not the greatest jump shot for somebody who hasn't shot the 3 particularly well this season. But I think State has done a really good job of driving the basketball. And you mentioned the turnovers. Again, that's something that State is just going to have to just take this season, but always would love to see them perform better in terms of turning the basketball over. But we'll see how State does in this second half. But we know how dominant Mississippi State's offense is when they're not turning the basketball over. Now, on the flip side of things, defensively for Mississippi State, Charlotte shooting 38% and 33%, 38 from the field, 33 from behind the three-point line, scoring 29 points in that first half. I think Charlotte's played really well. I thought they looked a lot better in the second quarter, but their scoring was really similar: 15 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter. But really, they played us really close in that second quarter, I thought, but those last couple of minutes for Charlotte were really harmful. A lot of turnovers, I think 4 over the last 2.5 minutes in that second quarter, and those were really harmful to Charlotte overall. What have you seen for State defensively?
Oh, you're holding them to their season numbers, which we said if you do that or you have the same kind of outcome that they had last week in their last game against George Washington, we would say you have a pretty good chance to win this ball game. Tonight, you're doing that. 38% from the field, 25% from the charity stripe, 33 from the 3. You're holding them to numbers that they usually see, but it's because they play a lot of competition, and that's no different for State. This is hard competition for Charlotte. And State's just proving who they're supposed to be. You're doing great offensively. You're doing great defensively. You're not doing terrible. You're winning the rebound battle 22-15. I love to see that. A lot of that is defensively, though. You're not giving a lot of second chance opportunities here, and I'd love to see a little bit more of the offensive boards, but hey, again, I become a little nitpicky when you do so well. There's only so much I can point out, and we're about ready for the third quarter.
Yeah, about 20 seconds until the third quarter. That's going to wrap up our halftime show. I will say one thing, too. State's done a good job of turning Charlotte over. Charlotte only 15 turnovers a ball game that they're averaging on the season. Only had 10 in the loss to George Washington. Charlotte with 9 turnovers, and a lot of those have been off of steals for State. State with 5 steals in that first half. So we're about ready for play here in the third quarter. State going to get the basketball first on the floor for the Bulldogs. It's Destin McFall, Trina Crisp, Chandler Prater, Madison Francis, and Favor Wade-Ozzie, the original starting 5 for State. Prater with the basketball, stops with her dribble, hands it off to McFall, and McFall now dribbling left. Back to Crisp on the left wing. Now to McFall, driving inside or trying to probe inside, gets it to Madison Francis with a contested free throw line jump shot. It's no good, but a long rebound gathered by Wade-Ozzie. Pass inside to Francis. Her shot no good. Gets her own rebound. Goes up with a shot. It's good, but they call a foul on the floor, and that's how we start the first possession of the half.
Yeah, it was good, but, they weighed the shot down. So, unfortunately you don't get the points, but you do get the bragging rights of saying, hey, I made that, even though they weighed it down.
Well, you had 2 offensive rebounds in that time as well. Now, State off of the inbound just threw it away, and it ends up being a jump ball, and it'll go with Charlotte. So a turnover for Mississippi State.
And they must be listening to my nitpicks, Ty, because I was like, man, I'd love to see more offensive rebounds. What'd you do? The first possession, 2 offensive boards, I must be calling the future out or something, because they're just doing everything and pleasing me up here in the media box.
Well, possession's going to stay with Mississippi State. I thought they called a jump ball, and it would have stayed with Charlotte, or gone with Charlotte, but it ends up going with Mississippi State. they actually called a personal foul. So State with it offensively. It's Francis who tries a jump shot, and it's no good. But Francis was fouled on the jump shot as she was hit on her elbow, so she's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
And we didn't see this a lot in the first quarter. I mean, there's been a lot of whistles blowing in the last 30 seconds that we haven't seen this ball game, and now we got a chance to score some more at the free throw line.
Francis at the line. She's shot 1 free throw tonight and made it. Makes the first. Francis coming into the ball game, a 73% shooter from the charity stripe. Francis, we mentioned how good she's been blocking the basketball. The only player in the nation to have multiple games with 6+ blocks. And she's been great tonight with multiple blocks in this one, and she nails both of her free throws, 47-29 Bulldogs.
And I hope she can continue that dominance come conference play. I'd love to see that from her.
So Charlotte with it now. It is Smith. Smith had 4 points in that first half. And now a handoff. They get it to Gage. Gage now to Best. Best tries a long J, and it falls. Was that a 3? Yes, it was. A 3 just close to the three-point line, but had her feet behind the three-point line. So a 3-ball for Best on the opening possession for Charlotte. Cross-court pass from Prater to Crisp in the right corner. Now to Wadozie near the right side elbow, just in front of the three-point line. Now they swing it to Prater. Now to McFall, left wing. 3-ball up, 3-ball good. State answers with a 3, 50-32 Bulldog.
I mean, she was waiting. Her spot was getting warm out there in the corner, and she made it.
Smith with it. Now Best. Excuse me, that was Anderson with it. And they try and throw it back to Smith, and fouling Smith is Madison. Francis a little bit too aggressive trying to steal the pass. And it's her first foul, team's first.
It's funny because as soon as it happened before they blew the whistle, she just started backing off because she knew what had happened that play.
Smith going to inbound in front of the Charlotte bench. She gets it into Ajahnay Nicholson. Now back to Smith. Now to Tanasia Hayes. Hayes with it. Gives it to Best. Best top of the key. Had a 3 on the last possession. Now to Hayes. Hayes driving. 3 on the shot clock. Right-handed layup. Up. No good. The scoop layup off the backboard and no good. Rebound for State. And McFall down the floor. Tried to push the pace, but now slows it down. Gets it out to Prater, who drives inside. A wraparound pass to Wadozie, and her shot no good. Really went off the bottom of the rim. And Charlotte now with it after a defensive rebound. Get it to Hayes. Now into the corner to Zoe Best. Back to Tanasia Hayes. Hayes with 4 points in that first half. 7:40 and counting to go in the third quarter. Stayed up 50-32. 8 on the shot clock. A spin inside for Ajahnay Nicholson, and her layup no good. And the ball out of bounds, blocked. I believe it was blocked by Francis.
I was going to say it if you weren't.
Yeah, so another block for Madison Francis in this one. She has now 3 blocks, State with 4. One of those belongs to Favor Wadozie. Chandler Prater going to check out. Jayla Lampley going to check in, so it's McFall, Crisp, Lampley, Francis, and Wadozie on the floor for State. Inbound to Nicholson, 3 on the shot clock. Nicholson storming to the right side of the lane, and a foul on Favor Wadozie with 2.6 on the shot clock.
I mean, it looked like she about overhead threw that like a football whenever she went up for that shot.
Well, she just had to go up with it there and ended up going up with it, and was able to draw a foul. So she's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Why are they hollering?
First shot. Yeah, well, that's the band going after Nicholson at the line. She makes her first free throw. A second one is no good. And are they going to call a foul? Yeah, a foul on State. A push off of the rebound, defensive rebound, or offensive rebound for Charlotte. I think Nicholson ended up getting that rebound, and Wadozie drew the push. So 3 fouls on Favor Wadozie, and she might have to check out here soon. Charlotte with the inbound on the baseline, dribble inside to Best. Now a right side short corner shot to Nicholson after a nice pass from Best, and Charlotte with a couple points there in that possession, 50-35. Crisp down the floor, moving towards the right side. Now to Francis. Now they swing left wing. Jayla Lampley, 3-ball up and rattles around, but no good. Rebound for Madison Francis. She goes up off glass and scores and is fouled by Tanasia Hayes.
That's what you love to see. And now she's going to make every single moment in her opportunities like it was her first. She very well could make this right here, as she's been perfect from the free throw line tonight.
9 points and 4 rebounds for Francis tonight. And you mentioned, yeah, she's been perfect from the free throw line. That was her first offensive rebound. Francis looking to get into double digits here. Her free throw off back iron, no good. Ball fought for and rebounded by Charlotte.
Announcer's jinx, I guess.
I guess so. So Charlotte up the floor, it's Hayes, and ball just went out of bounds off of Charlotte. And it's Mississippi State basketball. A turnover for the 49ers. State with it up 17. Under 7 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Crisp with it, now to McFall. State gets it past the half-court line inside to Lampley. Goes up with a left-hand layup and scores, and contact from behind. She's fouled and will go to the line to try and convert the three-point play.
I could hear the slap from up here. I heard a hand hitting an arm, and now she's at the free throw line. Way to get up there and make a shot, and even better to actually make the shot. Love to see it. Love to see it. Now we're timeout.
Lampley now with 6, a timeout from Charlotte. And they might take a media timeout with this one as well. 6:50 to go in the third quarter. It's the famous Maroon Band with a little bit of MSU 2K. Mississippi State leads 54-35, and Lampley will be at the line after this timeout. So a good open to the first couple of minutes in this third quarter for Mississippi State. They outscored Charlotte 9-6 in this third quarter, shooting really good again, 50% from the field, but Charlotte also shooting 50% from the field in this third quarter as well.
What I'm seeing right now, sorry, I was trying to get some stats up, was a lot of people that kind of struggled at the start when I was like, well, I need to see like a McFall and then the Madison Francis kind of get in. McFall's been great ever since then. Now she's the leading scorer for Mississippi State with 13, so she's getting her fair share. Madison Francis making every minute of her opportunities count. 9 points, that's the third leading scorer for Mississippi State. You just love to see how, I feel like when they went to halftime, for example, I feel like Sam Purcell was saying everything that I wanted them to do whenever they got out here, and they've been answering every single one of my prayers, if I'd like to call it that, because they've been doing great ever since the half. They've been making their opportunities count. I mean, you miss a free throw right there, which that happens every once in a while, but like you're 40% from the three right now, you're 56% from the field, and that number's only gone up since half. I mean, you've been great. You've got some offensive boards to give yourself some second chance success. You've fired on all cylinders. There was that one strange defensive possession, I will say, when there was about 3 fouls drawn or a couple, whatever was going on right there. Only thing that I would say this half that's kind of struggled. Other than that, you played some pretty good basketball.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte has come out too and played some good basketball, shooting 50% from the field. They've also gone to the line in this second half, in this third quarter. They've made one, missed another. But, Charlotte has come out and played well, but their defense not playing as well. And Mississippi State doing a good job, at least, and knock on wood here, because I don't want to announcers jinx us, and I don't think we have any wood around, so we might be in trouble. But State has done a good job of taking care of the basketball through these opening 3 minutes and 10 seconds. No turnovers through those first 3 minutes and 10 seconds for Mississippi State.
And you got to keep it that way.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So Mississippi State leads 54-35. 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. And both teams going to break from their respective huddles. Jayla Lampley going to be at the line to try and convert the three-point play after she made a left-handed layup near the left side block. She was fouled by Imani Smith. So Lampley will go to the line to shoot one. On the floor for State out of the timeout, it's McFall, Crisp, Lampley, Francis, and Richardson. Lampley's free throw no good, and a Rebound fought for and grabbed by Hayes. Up the floor quickly is Charlotte. It's Smith who will try a long left wing three. No good. Ball rebounded long by Nicholson of Charlotte, and an extra possession for the 49ers. Throw into the corner to Best. Best driving right side inside towards the paint. Now to Nicholson with it. Nicholson guarded. Now gets it outside to Smith. Now top of the key to Hayes, and Charlotte got to go. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Hayes driving left side on Richardson, just throws a wild one up. It's no good, and a rebound for Mississippi State. Crisp up the floor now. Stops ball. I'm going to give it to Madison Francis. Francis with 9 now in the ball game. Now back to Crisp, who has 8. Crisp back to Lampley. 10 on the shot clock for the Bulldogs. On the left wing is Lampley. A behind-the-back move. Now getting it out to Crisp. Crisp fakes a kick into the corner. Now actually kicks into the corner to McFall, who tries a right corner three. No good. Ball kicked around and off the foot of Ajahnay Nicholson of Charlotte. It'll be Bulldog basketball, and the shot clock will reset to 20. Checking in for Charlotte, replacing Genevia Gage, is going to be Daphne White, graduate center out of Gulfport, Mississippi, a transfer from Jackson State. She transferred with Tamika Reed, who was the previous coach at JSU. State will inbound into the backcourt, and Crisp will bring it into the front court. 15 on the shot clock for the Bulldogs here, and an extra possession after the ball was kicked out of bounds by Charlotte. Lampley with it. Deep left wing, 8 on the shot clock. Now to Crisp on the right wing. Crisp gets a screen from Richardson to her right. Now kicks into the corner to McFall. 3 on the shot clock. Now 2. McFall crosses over, fading 3 from the right side, off glass and in. My goodness. Bank is open at 8:14 p.m. in Starkville, Mississippi. Great 3 from Destiny McFall, and State has their biggest lead of the game of 22, 57-35.
I'm going to have to withdraw some cash here in a second.
White with the basketball for Charlotte. Now to Hayes. Hayes driving inside on McFall. Goes up with a right-handed layup. No good. Ball tipped to Madison Francis, and a rebound for her. Francis storming all the way down the lane, and a transition layup for the freshman.
And that's what she does best so well.
Meanwhile, Charlotte down the floor in transition. Their layup won't fall. White with the rebound. Has some space inside, and her shot again no good. She grabs another rebound and is fouled, and will go to the line to shoot 2. But State with a 7-0 run over the last minute and 54 seconds. They lead 59-35 with 4:48 to go in the third quarter.
I will say Charlotte loves to throw up shots to try to draw fouls. I've noticed the majority of the game.
They have been doing that. That'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. When we come back from the timeout, Daphne White going to be at the line to shoot 2 after she was fouled. But Mississippi State on a 9-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds. They've made their last 4 of 5 from the field, outscoring Charlotte 14-6 in this third quarter, and they lead 59-35 over the 49ers. Some news across Mississippi State athletics. Men's basketball play today fell in Tupelo in the T-Town tip-off to San Francisco. Lost that game by 3. State had a chance late in the ball game. They were down 1 with around 9 seconds to go, but a throwaway on the inbound and a turnover and a layup put the Bulldogs down by 3. And State couldn't hit a shot to send it to overtime at the end of regulation, and the Bulldogs fall to San Francisco State, now 4-5 on the season.
And I feel like those men kind of struggle the same as the women's basketball in certain ways. I feel like they don't have that one facilitator as well, and that's been an issue for the past couple years here.
Well, the main facilitator, at least they didn't have that one facilitator today. Your main facilitator has been who? Josh Hubbard. Josh Hubbard got hurt early on in that ball game against San Francisco today, tweaked his ankle, wasn't able to put any pressure on it coming off the floor, ended up walking on it later. They wrapped him up with some ice, and he was on the bench for the rest of the game. It probably was just a sprain. We hope it's not anything major. But he wasn't able to play today, so Mississippi State was out their best scorer and the SEC's leading scorer in that ball game against San Francisco, and it made a big difference. State also struggled to rebound the basketball.
I would say Epps stepped up. He had 21 points on the day, so he did pretty good for the men. But you could tell something was lacking, and it was kind of that facilitator in Josh Hubbard, and he's been able to kind of step into that role and kind of bring something to Mississippi State new, more so than he's been bringing the past couple years here.
So Mississippi State men's basketball falls to 4-5 in news for Mississippi State soccer. Nick Zimmerman move on to go coach the Florida Gators. So State hired a new head coach today, and that head man is Kevin O'Brien, coming to us from Lipscomb. So a good hire for Mississippi State. If you remember, Lipscomb defeated Mississippi State in the first round of the NCAA tournament here in Starkville. So State says if you can't beat them, join them.
I remember that one.
They hire O'Brien to be the head man here at Mississippi State. And also football news, Mississippi State bringing back Zach Arnett to become the defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs next season. And he'll be around, as I believe he arrived in Starkville today, he'll be around for Mississippi State's bowl practices because the Bulldogs ended up making a bowl game. The Bulldogs benefit off of some teams like, I believe, Kansas State and Iowa State backing out of
Maybe
bowl
even
games.
a Notre Dame.
Exactly, and they had a great APR, that is the academic progress rate, and so State profited off of that, and they're going to go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl and face Wake Forest
And where is it?
in Charlotte,
In
North
Charlotte.
Carolina. And we're playing Charlotte tonight. First free throw good for White out of the timeout, and White misses a second, ball rebounded by State. Lampley comes up with the rebound. We'll talk a little bit more about Mississippi State football in just a little bit, but
You know we could spend the whole rest of the broadcast talking about it.
you're right, but get to State basketball, women's basketball here. State with a missed shot down in the offensive end, and now down the floor is Cornish of Charlotte. Cornish getting her first minutes of ball game. Now they'll throw it down inside to White. White goes up with a right-handed layup on the left side of the goal and scores.
That was a little 180 shot right there. I don't know how she did it.
Francis trying to bring it down the floor. State got to get it across here. 21 on the shot clock. They do to Awa Fane, who's just checked into the game for the first time. Fane looking to Richardson near the right side elbow. Richardson will hand off McFall. McFall driving inside, kicks out. Madison Francis, a three ball up from the left wing, rattles around and out, and a rebound for Charlotte's Asian Nicholson. Now up the floor. They'll throw it inside all the way to White, kicking it out to the left wing to Cornish, who tries a three, and it's good. Cornish in her first minutes with a three. And Charlotte on a little bit of a mini run here of 6-0, 59-41 Bulldogs. Fane with it. Got a wide open right wing three. She'll try and answer. Can't do it. Ball tipped around and rebounded off glass by Charlotte. Cornish up the floor. 3-on-2 fast break for the 49ers. Nice pass to Smith. A layup up. No good. Ball tipped around. Rebounded by Mississippi State's Madison Francis. Up the floor now to Awa Fane. Fane will slow this pace down of the ball game. And State will start their offense. It's McFall with it on the Mississippi logo. McFall with it now, the right wing now to Richardson, who tries a jump shot from the right side short corner. It's good. She's great shooting the basketball from mid-range and knocks one down there face up with her defender. Cornish gets it into the offensive end, and that one blocked out of bounds by Madison Francis. My goodness. She came from nowhere to block that one. Anderson with an open three in the left corner, and it was blocked out of bounds. My goodness.
I don't know if I've ever heard leather slap that hard in my life.
Yeah, we could hear it from here. We've got the headsets
With the
on.
headsets on.
What a block from Madison Francis. State lives to play another day defensively. But Anderson will get another chance for a three ball, and it falls. Anderson now with 17, leading all scorers. Fane. Offensive end for State, now to Prater. Prater drives the left side, goes up with the right hand and scores. 63-44 Bulldogs have been kind of back and forth after the beginning of the third quarter. Charlotte starting to come into their own offensively. Cornish with the basketball, kicks out to Anderson. Anderson driving left side, layup no good, and a charge called on Anderson. And guess who drew it? Awa Fane off of the bench. Love the effort from Fane, the junior out of Senegal. In her first year playing college basketball, or at least playing major college basketball, and she draws a nice charge there.
Her shoe game's interesting today. She's wearing some neon green and neon orange, it appears, on her shoes.
Well, McFall tried to throw it to her, and Fane with those shoes couldn't catch up to the basketball as it's a turnover for Mississippi State. Their first of the second half. Nemo with the basketball now, moving left. Picks up her dribble and just threw it out of bounds. And that one not off the hands of Mississippi State at all. Just a bad throw from Nemo, who was looking for the hot hand Princess Anderson, and just threw it out of bounds. So a turnover for Charlotte. Inbound for State. And Prater Catches the ball in the front court. Now to Richardson. Richardson face up. Lost the basketball. Prater there be able to collect it. Now to Francis in the corner. Driving. Now a kick out to McFall. Top of the key three. No good. Prater there. Wide open. Rebound. And a follow is good. Great job from Francis blocking out there and left a wide open lane for Chandler Prater to rebound the basketball and score. 65-44 State. A minute and a half and counting to go here in the third quarter. Cornish will try left wing three. Up, no good. Ball rebounded by Mississippi State's Chandler Prater. Prater with a solid game in this one. 10 points and 9 rebounds, nearing a double-double. Francis passes inside to Richardson, who is fouled. That was a nice pass from Madison Francis. Found the open Richardson. And she went up and was fouled, so she'll go to the line and shoot two after missing that shot.
Notice how she didn't absolutely just try to football pass it into the glass when she drew that foul. She kind of just tried to go up, and then the foul was drawn. You ain't got to do anything extracurricular other than the extracurricular activity that was already there on the court.
Carissa Richardson only played 12 minutes so far in this one, but has played well. 4 points for her, 2 of 3 from the field, also 3 rebounds. She'll go to the line to shoot her first free throws of the night, and her first one off back iron and no good. Richardson, 4 points in her last ball game, 5 rebounds, averaging 6 points per ball game this season, just a bit over 4.5 rebounds a game, the transfer from Ole Miss. Her second free throw no good, but an offensive rebound for Madison Francis. Now to Finney, they'll swing it to McFall. McFall to Richardson at the free throw line. Richardson driving inside, looking to throw to Francis, and a offensive foul called on Richardson, who tried to throw the basketball into the corner to Madison Francis. And Richardson with an offensive foul.
It looked like she was about to pull an MJ and dunk that basketball. I would have went crazy whether or not it would have went in.
Under a minute to play here in the third quarter now. Charlotte with it. Mississippi State leads Charlotte 65-44. Bulldogs looking to move to 9-1. Cornish now to the right wing. They try and throw it inside from the right wing, and the ball stolen away by Mississippi State. Francis up the floor. Now she's lost the basketball, and it's fought for and out of bounds off of Charlotte. Ajane Nicholson tried to save that one back in. Could not do it, so it'll be State basketball. Checking in for the Bulldogs is going to be Favor Wadozie, replacing Carissa Richardson. So in the game for State, it's McFall, Awa Finney, Chandler Prater, Madison Francis, and Favor Wadozie. Ball inbounded to McFall. Now a handoff to Finney. She'll try a long two. Shot up and rattles out. No good. And a rebound gathered long by Charlotte. Up the floor is best of Charlotte. We'll try a right-handed layup up and good, no good. But a foul called on Destiny McFall.
Now those little kind of down low rainbow passes Charlotte is throwing that they've been doing most of the game. Finally, Madison Francis recognized they were doing that, was able to get the steal, and finally get State's ball. You know, you don't execute offensively, and then you come down the court, get a little frisky, and then draw a foul.
Trying to crisp, going to check in for McFall. That was McFall's first foul, so not really a Bulldog in foul trouble except for Favor Wadozie. But at this point in the ball game, State leads by 21, so State maybe feels rather safe right now. Best with the first free throw, and it falls. Best, a sophomore guard out of St. Louis, Missouri, transferred from Southeastern Missouri, is the OVC Freshman of the Year last year. Her second free throw good, so 65-46 the score. Some backcourt pressure from Charlotte, but State gets it into the front court. Down the floor to Finney. Nice pass inside to Wadozie. What a find by Finney, and Wadozie's shot is good.
Notice they're both wearing neon green shoes. That's the chemistry.
I haven't noticed that, but I mean, those
You
look
know
like
that's the type of stuff I point out.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. 67-46 State, 5 seconds to go. Charlotte going to try and get a last-second shot. It's Cornish with it. Tried to step back three. Steps through to her left and throws one up, and it's not even close. And that's going to end the third quarter and send us to the fourth quarter here in Starkville. Mississippi State 67, Charlotte 46. As we head to the fourth quarter, Famous Maroon Band playing the fight song as the Bulldogs lead by 21. Charlotte still fighting in this ball game, but Mississippi State just continuously adding on to the margin They've outscored Charlotte 24-15 in the first quarter, 21-14 in the second quarter, and 22-17 in the third quarter to make it a 67-46 ball game. And State still continuing to shoot the ball really well at a 55% clip so far in this ball game. So that'll send us to the fourth quarter. Got a chicken toss coming up here at the Humphrey Coliseum. They usually have those every ball game.
I've always wanted to play one of these. One year for my family vacation. My mom's from South Carolina. We always go to South Carolina, not Charlotte, South Carolina. We don't go up north, but every once in a while. But one year we had to put shaving cream on our head with the shower cap and then throw cheese balls on our heads. And man, I was catching all sorts of cheese balls on my head. I feel like I have like a calling for that, Ty.
If they ever call you down to do this game, so you would think you'd probably be like a prodigy?
I might have to be. You know, I might have to walk down there from this media booth here and put one of them baskets on my head to see what I can do.
So you would be the one wearing the basket?
I would have to be. I need somebody to throw it, though. How's your throwing ability?
I think I can throw it pretty good. I'd like to say that I could throw a rubber chicken all right.
No, it's underhand, though. I know you're used to throwing the ball with me outside, you know, me running a couple routes, but these are something different than throwing a football, Ty.
Well, if you've got any skill with holding the basket on your head, I think you'll be okay. I think my throwing just needs to get to you at the least, and then all you would have to do would just be move around.
Exactly, but you got to throw it up high enough to where I can get underneath the chicken to catch it.
Give you some air time?
You got to give me some air time.
Makes sense.
That's how I catch the chicken.
Well, that's enough on our rant about the chicken toss here.
Or Cornish hen, if you will.
Yeah, sure, whatever you want to call it.
You know I like to play on words with the players here.
So 67-46 the score. Mississippi State with the lead. They're looking like they're going to take care of Charlotte and move to 9-1 on the season. In that third quarter, what did you see that impressed you, Connor?
I saw you firing out from all cylinders of the basketball. Let me pull some stats here so I can tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry, I was editing the graphic. But now that you have some offensive tape out there for the third quarter, you got several Bulldogs over double digits tonight. That's 4, I believe. That's McFall, Prater, Wadozie, and Francis all over double-digit points, something you expected to see based on their average. Everybody's getting love tonight. Even Crisp is almost at double digits with 8. And even Finay's going out there and playing some ball, you know? Like I said earlier, we just got some ball players, Ty, and I love to see what we're doing. Hopefully we can close it out here with the fourth quarter underway.
This team, again, I've mentioned it a lot this season, but I feel like this is a very deep basketball team for Mississippi State. Got a lot of talent across this roster. And that's a credit to Sam Purcell and his staff building this roster. A lot of newcomers on this team. Charlotte with it out of the quarter break, and a 3-ball attempt is no good, and State gathers the rebound. Crisp with the basketball. Now to Prater. Prater driving left side, gets it out to Crisp, 20 on the shot clock. Crisp with 8 points in the ball game. Connor just mentioned that. She's dribbling left, gives it to Madison Francis, 12 on the shot clock. Now back to Crisp, who quick triggers a top-of-the-key 3, and it falls as she's now in double figures with 11. And she's perfect from behind the three-point line, 3 of 3. 70-46 Bulldogs. Tanasia Hayes with the basketball, gets a screen from White. Hayes now kicked to the left wing to Best. 3-ball up from her, and it just rattles out. Rebound for favor Wadozie. Wadozie passed it to Crisp, and now Crisp gets it to Prater in the front court. A free throw line jump shot short. Ball fought for and tipped around and finally rebounded by favor Wadozie. Kick cross court to Finay, who picks up her dribble. Now to Francis, looking inside to Wadozie. Wadozie going to work on White, goes up, and no good off glass, but an offensive rebound for State. Prater, now a backdoor pass inside to Madison Francis. Her shot no good. Francis with her own offensive rebound and a score off of the rebound. How about that work from Mississippi State, getting offensive boards, and they turn it into some second chance points.
Gotta love it.
With the basketball is Tanasia Hayes. Hayes has 4 in the ball game. Now they kick into the corner to Anderson. Anderson driving inside, and her shot no good. Pass up to Finay, and she'll slow it down, giving it off to Triana Crisp. Crisp now to Prater. Now they swing to Francis left wing, looking inside, and Francis has it tipped around and knocked out of her hands by Princess Anderson. Anderson down the floor. A nice pass up the floor and a layup good to Tanasia Hayes.
Usually it's Madison Francis getting the turnovers.
Francis has played well in this one, but 2 turnovers, I believe, in the ballgame. 7:45 to go in the game, 72-48 Bulldogs. Finney with it now to Crisp. Crisp inside. Now they kick into the corner to Prater. Fakes a 3, steps to the left. And the attempt is no good. Rebound for State offensively. Prater driving inside. Reverse layup with the left hand is good. State has gathered a lot of offensive rebounds, really beating Charlotte at their own game. Now 15 offensive rebounds in the ballgame. Check that, 14. But out rebounding Charlotte by 2 on the offensive glass. Nicholson with the basketball just throws one up, and it's no good. And she's down in the backcourt, so State's got a 5-on-4 advantage. Inside to Wadozie. Her shot no good. Ball fought for. State gets the rebound to Prater. Now to Francis. Now top of the key to Crisp. Her 3-ball up. Rattles out and no good. Rebound for Prater. Goes up with a shot, and it falls, and she was fouled, and she'll go to the line to try and convert the 3-point play.
She's doing great tonight, especially in this second half. She was great in the first, but she has really, really been a highlight this second half.
Yes, she has. Prater has 14, second on the team in scoring.
Got a nice little double-double on the night.
A double-double, 8 points and 6 rebounds in that second half. You mentioned how well she's played in the second half, but yeah, a double-double of 14 points and 13 rebounds. She'll go to the line to try and cap off the 3-point play, and I think we're going to have a timeout on the floor. And this is probably going to be a media timeout, so a media timeout on the floor. Mississippi State leads 76-48 with 6:56 to go in the fourth quarter. Bulldogs have opened this quarter tremendously well. They have outscored Charlotte 9-2 to start the fourth quarter. Trying to finish the game, as we have talked about, continuing to try and play complete basketball.
Exactly. And the only thing I could say at this fourth quarter since the start, you've had a couple turnovers in this quarter. That's the only thing I would say. Madison Francis had one when she was behind the arc, so I would love for her to kind of stay down low. I know she is a dominant force to be reckoned with, and she needs to be down low. That's where she has her kind of niche. She has her little place down there. I'd love to see her stay down there. I know that she likes to kind of show that she's versatile in this ball game, but whenever you average 3 blocks a game, and right now you have 4 on tonight, you're already showing your versatility in that way.
Well, I'll give you my take on that here as the famous Maroon Band plays a little horse as they spread out around the arena here at the Humphrey Coliseum on this fine Sunday night. You know, my take on Francis, offensively at least, I think she is very versatile. She's very versatile. She does an excellent job in driving the basketball. I think that's what she needs to continue to do. But
you don't see it from the corners, or you see it usually from the top of the key.
Exactly. But when State's setting up their offensive sets in the half court, what I really like for her to do is play the elbow. She does a great job, and State did this a couple times in the Louisiana Monroe win, of setting up a high-low in terms of they'll throw it towards the elbow to Madison Francis, and then you'll have Wadozie or Richardson on the low block and throw it down there and set up the high-low. And you can also do a lot of different things on that. You know, Francis can drive herself, or she can kick out, and State can swing it around the perimeter.
Or she could shoot right there.
Exactly. There's a lot of options there. I really like when she plays on the elbow in Mississippi State's half-court sets. But a lot of her points, too, come from fast break. I mean, a lot of them, she's had some opportunities tonight after some steals to score off of fast break points. Mississippi State with 14 fast break points on the ball game. So she's just very versatile. I think that's the great thing about her is she can do so much for Mississippi State. that you can really move around anywhere you want to. And I think that's going to be something that State's going to be able to profit from this season. I mean, you've also seen, too, she's been able to rebound the basketball offensively really, really well and score off of those rebounds.
I would just say, though, when she's on the wing, that's where I've noticed most of her struggles tonight. I've noticed turnovers. I've noticed missed shots. I've just noticed struggles on the wing. Kind of put her somewhere else. You've already established you're a versatile player. Why you have to do it on the wing? You've said they love to drive her through, but most of that's the top of the key. They love to put her on the elbow. That's towards the top of the key. Kind of keep her in that area.
Both teams will break from the timeout. Prater with a free throw that's no good as she tried to convert the three-point play. So Charlotte with the basketball. State leads 76-48, and a foul called on Mississippi State's.
We're getting another one of these again.
Mississippi State's Madison Francis, a push on Francis, so a foul called, her second, team's first of the quarter. Again, 76-48 Dogs, 6:45 to go in the ballgame.
That's one of them head-scratching calls.
Cornish now to Smith. Smith looking, throws it to Gage at the free throw line. Now back out to Smith. They kick all the way to the right wing to Anderson. Her three ball up and no good, and a tough rebound for Sanaya King on the big for Charlotte of Gage. So King down the floor, still looking for her first points. Gets it to Francis, and Francis just throws the ball away. Looking for Prater down the floor, and a layup up and no good. Prater with a hard foul on Princess Anderson.
You know what I would want to see there? You know they're going to throw the ball up when you get about a breath's length away from them. Just let them throw it up. You ain't got to do any of that contact. I mean, you're behind her. Why are you trying to block from behind? That's the only issue I have with that right there. It was unnecessary. You didn't need to have that.
Well, I think they might review this, too, for a possible flagrant foul. And, hate that for to be this late in the ball game, almost a 30-point lead for Mississippi State at 28. And we're going to review for a flagrant here. There's something you don't want to see, especially for somebody that's played so well in Prater. But also, thoughts go with Princess Anderson for somebody who's played so well for Charlotte tonight. She has 17, which leads all scorers in the ball game. And so she's still, shaking up there on the baseline. She is able to get up, but bending down, just trying to gather herself. I don't know exactly what happened to her, but, it was a hard foul. And so the referees have broke from the scores table, so I think they're discussing if this is anything extracurricular.
Oh, they're going to send her back to the locker room.
Anderson probably going to walk back to the locker room. Locker room is on the opposite side of the hump, but she's walking into the tunnel. That is on the opposite side of where their locker room is, so
you don't have to walk around the whole concourse just to get back to the room.
Yeah, I think she went into the tunnel, so they call a flagrant one. Just making sure I hear this. So flagrant one on Mississippi State's Chandler Prater. So that's all that will result of that. Anderson was fouled in the act of shooting. So Charlotte's going to have to grab somebody to shoot for her. It's going to be Tanasia Hayes.
I believe that was Prater's second foul of the night, though. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, her second. And Prater's still in the game. Hayes' free throw no good. Charlotte also going to get the basketball back after this. Hayes makes the last one. So Hayes shoots for Anderson, and her free throw is good. Charlotte will get the basketball after the flagrant one on Chandler Prater. Inbound to Hayes, and Hayes will start the offense for Charlotte. Guarded by Trina Crisp. Now a kick to Best. Now kick into the corner to Cornish. Now all the way to the left wing to Hayes. She'll try left wing three. It's no good. Long rebound gathered by Zoe Best of Charlotte. Best driving towards the left side baseline. Passes it out to Hayes. Hayes driving inside. Kicks out. to Cornish for a long three from the top of the key. It's no good. Another rebound offensively for Charlotte. Gage comes up with it but misses the shot. And the ball's tipped out of bounds off of Cornish as Cornish was trying to grab a steal out of nowhere there. So possession will stay with Mississippi State as Cornish knocked it out. Francis going to inbound for the baseline, but Charlotte bringing some pressure here in the backcourt. A little man-to-man press. And they double team off of King. King tried to throw it back to Francis, but the ball was kicked by Smith, so kickball possession Mississippi State. Lampley going to check in for the Bulldogs. And sitting the bench for the Lady Dogs is going to be Chandler Prater. On the floor for State, it's King, Crisp, Lampley, Francis, and Wadozie. Francis going to inbound here in the backcourt for MSU, and another kick out of bounds on Smith. Possession still with Mississippi State. 5:47 to go in the ball game. 76-49 Bulldogs. See if State can get this thing in. They do to Crisp. Crisp got to get it across, and they do to Lampley. Lampley now down inside to a wide-open Wadozie, and her left-handed layup is good. Wadozie now with 14 in the ball game and 11 rebounds to go with that. Hayes up the floor. Inside to Smith near the left elbow. Now back out to Hayes. Now back to Smith. They're just kind of throwing it to each other. Now they get it to Cornish. Now to Smith just inside the right corner three-point line. And a push on Mississippi State's that favor Wadozie. It is. It's on favor Wadozie, her fourth.
It's those body bumps, Ty. You got to be careful kind of hitting with your hips or your chest. Even though your hands are up, you can show them one thing, but sleight of hand is real.
Cornish triggers in the baseline inbound, and a trap in the corner for Mississippi State. And they're going to call a travel. A travel on Tanasia Hayes. And it's Bulldog basketball. Tough place to inbound, though, for Francis. Inbounding in the backcourt near the corner. They do get it in. Sanaya King now up the floor to Francis. Francis now to Lampley. Lampley driving inside. Gets it out to Wadozie. Now top of the key to King. King fakes a three and will set up the offense. 18 on the shot clock, coming up on 5 minutes to go in the ballgame. Now to Lampley. Lampley driving on two Charlotte defenders. Lost the basketball on a turnover for State. Down the floor is Hayes. Hayes crossing over, kicks it into the corner to Best. Three ball up, good. Good shot from Best. Good transition offense from Charlotte. And State will bring it up the floor as they lead by 26, 78-52. Down the floor is State to Lampley on the left side block. Layup and good. Good find from Francis, and Lampley, with no fear, goes up and scores. 80-52 Bulldogs. Ball now to Hayes, deep right wing, now to Cornish. Swinging all the way to Best on the left wing, back to Cornish. 16 on the shot clock, stayed up 80-52, closing in on a 9-1 start to the year. Cornish dribbling right and tries a long two that falls. 80-54.
Cornish has been on it.
Cornish has played 8 minutes in the ball game, but 5 points. Wadozie with it now for Mississippi State inside the three-point line. Hadn't taken a dribble yet. Now she does. Going to work on Gage. Goes up with the right hand and scores. How about the mobility there from Wadozie, starting from outside of the paint, working in, and goes up and scores with the right hand. Hayes with it now to Smith, who tries a free throw line jump shot, and it was sent out of, or just blocked out of nowhere from Francis. Francis goes up with a layup in transition, and it's no good, but a blocking foul called on the 49ers.
That was a good call right there. Didn't have her feet set. Tried to shuffle inside. Madison Francis got you on that one.
Francis going to go to the line. She has 13 and 7 tonight, along with 5 blocks.
That average is just going to keep going up.
Exactly. It'll tick up a little bit after this one. Francis at the line to shoot 2. After drawing a blocking foul in transition, her first free throw good. Francis now with 14 in the ball game, now 4 of 5 from the free throw line. The freshman's second free throw no good. Ball tipped out by Mississippi State's Jayla Lampley, and possession will go with the 49ers. Checking out is Madison Francis, and Chandler Prater going to come back into the ball game. So on the floor for State with 3:40 and counting to go in the ball game is Sanaya King, Triana Crisp, Chandler Prater, Jayla Lampley, and Favor Wadozie. Long 3 attempt from Best is no good. Ball fought for and rebounded by Nicholson of Charlotte, but Nicholson and Crisp tie up with each other, and tech's called, or a tech called on the floor. I think maybe a double tech on Mississippi State's Crisp and Charlotte's Asian Nicholson.
Well, I was confused because I originally thought it was a jump ball, and then the ref goes in there, doesn't blow a whistle, just steps on the court, acts like the play's dead. But then they start tussling because they don't hear a whistle. But the ref's in between them just about at this point. I'm not really sure what just happened. Because you play until the whistle's blown. That's what they teach you in every sport.
So they're going to review this for anything extracurricular. I believe a tech was called, at least on, and I think it was probably on Mississippi State. I don't know if they called a double technical, but I'll tell you what.
I hope it's not Wadozie, because if it is, she's fouled out.
Here comes my rant.
All right, where's your rant?
And I don't want to complain too much about the referees because it's been what it's been. 83-54, 3:25 left in the ball game, and we're stopping play to look over a technical because two players were fighting for the basketball and jawed at each other a little bit.
Well, look, she gets in the middle of the two players, but she doesn't have the whistle in her mouth to blow it.
They called jump ball.
I thought they did.
They called jump ball, and the referee tried to split them up, and then the referee comes from the other side and calls technical fouls. So, you know, it's just you got two players jawing at each other. Hey, it's whatever. If it would have resulted in something bigger, obviously then you come in. But they're just jawing at each other. And my thing, too, is, you know, it's a 29-point ball game with 3:25 left. Jump ball, Mississippi State basketball. I think they called technicals on both.
I think they said Lampley. Did they not say Lampley? Did I mishear that?
I think I think both technicals are going to go on. They're going to have one on each player. Triana Crisp and Asian Nicholson, I believe, are given the technical fouls. So those will offset. They'll just go with the result of the play. And Mississippi State.
You're right. Originally, they had called that tech on Hayes. But
Yeah.
they said, hey, we're going to call it on Nicholson
Yeah,
instead
so-
after reviewing the tape.
So just to make sure we're all good. Asian Nicholson with the technical foul. Triana Crisp with the technical foul. Call on the floor was a jump ball, and that's what it stays with, is both technical fouls offset. So State gets the ball after the jump balls. The possession arrow was in their favor. So State down the floor, inside to Lampley, or inside from Lampley to Wadozie. Wadozie going to work right side and just goes up with a wild shot off the top of the backboard. It's no good. And ball going to be out on Mississippi State. They're going to talk about it.
I'm almost.
And it's going to be out on Charlotte. And they said that Caitlin Staley touched the basketball, and Staley trying to make her point.
I don't know what happened, but I'm almost certain Wadozie's feet touched back on that court when she jumped up on that shot.
Yeah, Wadozie had a wild shot there, but it ended up counting, and it went off Staley, who was trying to stay out of the way. King with the basketball after the inbound. She tried to make her first points of the night with a 3-ball, and it's no good. Ball saved into Charlotte. Up the floor is Tanasia Hayes. Kick out for 3 to Zoe Best, no good. Ball fought for, rebounded by Charlotte. And a foul called on the baseline on Mississippi State. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hold on. Excuse me. The ball out of bounds on Mississippi State, so it'll stay with Charlotte. Inbound into the paint, going up with it is Nicholson. That one nowhere near where it needed to be to get in. And a rebound for Natalia Gray, who's just checked into the ball game for MSU. Sanaya King up the floor now to Chandler Prater. Prater looking for 3 and doesn't shoot it. Gives it to Gray, who tries a 3 of her own. It's no good. Ball tipped around, rebounded by Charlotte. Up the floor is Nemo. Nemo now to Hayes. Under 2.5 to play in the ball game. Stayed up 83-54. This one well in hand. A screen and now a handoff to Nemo, and Nemo traveled. As PA announcer Anthony Craven says, too many steps for the sophomore guard out of Augusta, Georgia, and a turnover for Charlotte. their 16th of the ball game.
I guess you could easily find Nemo when she turns the ball over.
It's a good one there, Connor. State with the basketball. Jayla Lampley with it. Top of the key now, driving left side. Goes up with a left-hand layup and scores. Love the aggressiveness from Jayla Lampley as she now has double digits on the night, 10 points. 85-54 MSU. They lead by 31. Hayes with it, driving right side, kicks into the corner to Nemo, fakes a three ball, drives left, now kicks it out, top of the key to Best. Her three ball up and good.
She's the best at those threes.
She knocks it down there, and she's hit a lot tonight, 4 of 7 from beyond the three-point line for 14 points. Coming up on a minute and a half to go in the ball game, 85-57 MSU. Awa Fane with the basketball. Picks up her dribble, looking for Gray. Gets it to Gray near the left side elbow. Drives inside, going up with the jump shot for the layup and no good. But a blocking foul called on Charlotte's Asian Nicholson. And that's going to send Natalia Gray to the line to shoot 2. Gray played 5 minutes in that last ball game in the win over Pitt, did not score, so looking for some points in this one. A 70% free throw shooter and a freshman on this team, and her free throw good. So Gray gets on the board for MSU.
And Nicholson appears to be fouled out after that one.
Yeah, Nicholson with 5 fouls now. Just she's out of the game, and Gray knocks down both free throws. It won't really matter that Nicholson's fouled out. This game well in hand, stayed up 30 with a minute 20 and counting to go. Rocio Jimenez is going to go to the scorer's table, and she's going to get some time here late in the ball game. Best with the basketball, driving inside, now down low to Staley. Her shot no good, but she's fouled, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. A minute 9 to go in the fourth quarter. Caitlin Staley going to go to the line. Rocio Jimenez is going to check in. She'll replace Chandler Prater. That'll most likely cap off her night in 26 minutes. Prater with 14 points and 13 rebounds. A nice double-double from her. Meanwhile, the free throw good from Staley. Makes her first one of 2. Staley, a junior from Augusta, Georgia. One of the 2 players on this squad from Augusta, Georgia. She makes both free throws to make it 87-59. Coming up on a minute to play. Fane with the basketball for MSU. Bulldogs going to move to 9-1 on the year. Nice pass down low to Gray, whose shot was too far, but Lampley cleans it up with an offensive rebound and goes up and scores. 89-59 Bulldogs. Up the floor is Hayes. Now to Teal. Now back to Hayes. 17 on the shot clock, 40 seconds on the game clock and counting. Hayes moving right, now 12 on the shot clock. Kick into the corner. Henderson driving baseline. Shot up, no good, and rebounded by State. Shot clock is still on. About a 2-second or 2.5-second differential. State going to have to at least fire off one more shot. We'd love to see Sanaya King score here with no points in this one. King going to spin and go up with the left hand. Her shot no good. And ball knocked out of bounds. Who's it going to go off of? It goes off of State. King lost her shoe in the process. So she's going to get that back on.
It's because it's not neon green. That's why she lost it.
You and those neon green shoes.
Oh, yeah. Look at them. 4 out of 5 on the court have neon green on.
That is true. Lampley, Jimenez, Gray, and Fane all have the green shoes that Connor's talking about. King with the only one that doesn't have them. She's got, like, shoes that look like ice.
Like a Chicago sky blue almost.
10 seconds to go in the game. I think Charlotte's just going to dribble this thing out, and they will. 89-59, the Bulldogs are going to win. 2-1. Bingo. Mississippi State 89, Charlotte 59. The Bulldogs move to 9-1 on the season, and you can wrap this one, my friends, in maroon and white. Again, Mississippi State wins 89-59 over Charlotte to move to 9-1 on the year. They cap off an excellent week of basketball, defeating Pitt and defeating the 49ers of Charlotte here at the Humphrey Coliseum to move to 9-1. immediate thoughts from you, Connor, and then we'll send it to a break and then come back for the Bulldog Student Sports Network post-game show. Just want to hear some immediate thoughts from you about the ball game before we go to break.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the game. I want to say predominantly in the fourth quarter, I did not see a lot of blocking out. Now, granted, Madison Francis didn't play a whole lot when it came to the end of the ball game, and that's usually the girl that blocks out a lot down low, and Way Doza, and I didn't really see much blocking out when it came to the other ones that came in there. You know, I would just like to see a little bit more effort when it comes to blocking out, because when you look at the offensive rebound for Charlotte, and this is one thing that we knew was going to happen, they had 16 offensive rebounds to their 37. So it's not all, it's almost half. But you even look at ours, and only 51 of our rebounds were, or excuse me, 18 of our 51 rebounds were offensive. A lot of Charlotte's were offensive, almost 50%. So I would love to see that kind of number go down when you get into conference play, especially because once you get into that greater competition, we discussed it, you're ninth in shooting in your own conference. There's 8 people better than you in this conference shooting. They're not going to allow these second chance points to be missed. They're going to make these opportunities. You can't give them to them. And the only way you can do that, got to box out.
Well, I just want to say, and I appreciate you wanting some better from Mississippi State, but you look at the ball game, they handled business. They won the ball game by 30 tonight. They shot over 50% from the field, made a couple of threes, played some good defense, forced some turnovers down the stretch, kept care, or, took care of the basketball for at least the most part. Had 9 turnovers in that first half, but only 6 in the second half, so improved on that from half to half. Out-rebounded Charlotte by 14. And controlled the defensive glass and ended up beating them at their own game with +2 on the offensive glass. Dominated the paint with 56 points in the paint out of their 89 points. They outscored Charlotte every single quarter. Didn't score below 20 in a single quarter. State dominated the basketball game tonight, so I just want to say that. I think Mississippi State did what they had to do tonight. We always talk about taking care of business. Mississippi State took care of business and did what they had to do to get to 9-1.
And you're right. I hate to – I don't want it to make it seem like I'm like a Debbie Downer or anything. But I just want to point out how we can round our edges a little bit better whenever we get into tougher competition. Because Charlotte, we knew we were going to be able to handle business against Charlotte when it came to tonight. We did that. You did it by 30 points. Congratulations. You played great. We're going to talk more about it here in just a second. I want to get some stats up on the board again. But you handled business. You did it again. And let's see how you can continue to do that throughout the week.
Mississippi State takes care of business tonight, defeating Charlotte 89-59. They win by 30 to move to 9-1 on the season. A good start for Mississippi State women's basketball on the year. We'll be back in just a moment for the Bulldog Student Sports Network post-game show. Again, I'm Ty Goldman alongside Connor Davis. That was Mississippi State winning 89-59 over Charlotte. We'll be back in just a moment for the post-game show. You're listening to Mississippi State women's basketball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Baby. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on and celebrate tonight. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright. Let's celebrate.
Welcome back into the Bulldog Student Sports Network. This is our post-game show. Mississippi State wins 89-59 over Charlotte. The Lady Bulldogs move to 9-1 on the season. Charlotte falls to 4-6. So a good open to the season for your Lady Dogs as they defeat Charlotte again, 89-59, winning by 30. You have some stats on your screen, courtesy of Connor Davis making the graphic for you, but we'll go into a full statistical comparison between the two teams and then talk about our thoughts on the ball game and of the ball game. So, statistical comparison between the two teams. Mississippi State shot 52% from the field, 37 of 71. Charlotte, 33% from the field, 22 of 67. Bulldogs, 30% from 3, 6 of 20. Charlotte, 33%, 7 of 21. Mississippi State, 56% from the free throw line, 9 of 16. And Charlotte, 57%, 8 of 14. Bulldogs with 15 turnovers, and Charlotte scored 14 points off of those turnovers. And the 49ers with 16 turnovers. State capitalized with 24 points off of those 16 turnovers. Bulldogs won the rebound battle by 14, 51-37 in total. State plus 12 on the defensive glass at 33-21. And then plus 2 on the offensive glass, 18-16. State scored 19 points off of those 18 offensive rebounds. Charlotte scored 13 points off of those 16 offensive rebounds. Bulldogs with 18 bench points. Charlotte with 19. State with 56 points in the paint out of their 89 total points. Charlotte with 26 points in the paint out of their 59 total points. State with 14 fast break points in the ball game. Charlotte with 15. Bulldogs with 6 blocks. 49ers with 2. MSU with 6 steals. 49ers with 8. State with 13 assists. Charlotte with 9. Game was tied for 4 times in the ball game and tied for 1 minute and 53 seconds. Only one lead changed the ball game. It was from when Charlotte was leading for 40 seconds, and then Mississippi State took the lead and never gave the lead up. They led for a total of 37 minutes and 27 seconds in the ball game, and they ended up winning the ball game 89-59. Also look at fouls too. State with 16 and Charlotte with 15. State outscored Charlotte 24-15 in the first quarter, 21-14 in the second quarter, 22-17 in the third quarter, and 22-13 in the fourth quarter to win 89-59. So all those stats said right there. Overall thoughts, and we'll get into offense, defense, and some individual performances, and then, kind of wrap it up, talk a little bit at the end, and head on home. So it's some overall thoughts from you in the ball game, Connor, as Mississippi State wins 89-59 to move to 9-1 on the season.
Now, as you were discussing those stats, there are 2 numbers that kind of pointed out to me, and that is your free throw percentage and your rebounds. Now, you look at the free throw percentage. It was, 50-something percent?
56%.
56%. Thank you.
9 of 16 from the charity.
Yes, 56%. you are a team that is 72% on the year. You have to get over that 70 standard if you want to be successful from the charity stripe.
And luckily, it didn't burn you too much tonight because you had such a big lead. But, yeah, it's something, that State's going to have to improve on. They shot well in the last game from the free throw line, and have shot well recently from the free throw line. But, yeah, just seemed to struggle tonight, and a lot of those was not being able to convert on and one opportunities. State had a lot of and one opportunities tonight and just missed those the one free throw shot that they had. But, yeah, I can agree with you with that. And you also wanted to talk about rebounds?
Yes, and you shot 52 from the field. You love to see a number that's over 50. I don't mind that at all, but I want to talk about rebounds. A team that came in here, 42 rebounds a game, you added 9 to your total tonight. You had 51. You did great rebound in the basketball. A lot of that was boxing out. I would say for the majority of the game, you outplayed, boxing out-wise, the other team.
Out-hustled Charlotte.
Sure, we could say that, yes. And when it came to kind of you won third by 30 points. Usually it kind of gets a little lackluster towards the end of the game. That's what happened. But for the majority of the game, you boxed out well. A credit to Madison Francis. Every time I saw her on the basketball court down low and there was a missed shot, she was boxing out. And that is how you give your team more opportunity to score. That's how you give them those second chance points. She did phenomenal tonight. I love talking about her. I've loved watching her this season. She's just a dang good ball player. When you play basketball the right way, you can have games that are 89-59 and win by 30. You added 9 to your total tonight on your season average for rebounds per game. Good sight to see. I wanted to point that out. I started with free throw because I was going to kind of talk a little down on it, and now I wanted to kind of end with the rebounds because it was a great showing tonight.
Yeah, you're right. State did a great job rebounding the basketball. You talked about that fourth quarter, and while it may have seemed that it was a little bit more lazy in terms of rebounding the basketball, it honestly, I'm just going to tell you straight up, Connor, it wasn't. I mean, Mississippi State dominated the fourth quarter, 18 rebounds to 9 for Mississippi State over Charlotte. So State really didn't falter as much in that fourth quarter. Now, a couple times it got lazy out there. And again, too, you're late in the ball game, so and you had the game well in hand. That is what it is. But just in total, State with 18 rebounds to Charlotte's 9 in that fourth quarter. They controlled the glass all ball game. You talked about Francis with her rebounding and her boxing out. She had 7, but also there were 2 Bulldogs ahead of her. I mean, Wadozie had 11 in the ball game for a double-double, and also Prater had 13 rebounds in the ball game for a double-double. So 2 Bulldogs with double-doubles tonight, and I believe that's the first time that's happened all season with having 2 Bulldogs having a double-double in a single ball game. So, State did a really good job rebounding the basketball tonight. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something good to mention for MSU. Now I want to talk about offense. Well, what did you see from State's offense? You mentioned that we shot 52%, and I mentioned that too. It's also on the graphic as well. That's a fantastic number. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do any ball game that you play. I mean, shooting 50%, 52% is going to get you what you want. I mean, you should have a fair amount of success every ball game if you're shooting that way. And State did tonight with scoring 89 points and never scoring under 20 points in any quarter.
Yeah, and you look at the home team stats right now, you had 6 Bulldogs over double-digit points tonight. Really good offensive showing. They knew what they had to do, and they did it. They executed offensively well. And we talked about Pitt and Destiny McFall's 22-point game against Pitt. I believe that was the number. And you were like, okay, well, Destiny McFall is really the offensive gal. But then you look tonight, you had when she was kind of not as hot when the game started, you had so many other Lady Dogs step up and do great. Treyana Crisp, 11 points. Chandler Prater, 14. You all already talked about Wadozie with 16. Madison Francis with 14. Lampley with 12. They stepped up when they needed to, and you just like to see that. Lampley, not a starter, but she came in and did what she needed to do for her role. I talked about it earlier. When you do what you're supposed to do in your role in your team, you can win ball games by 30 points. And this isn't just for basketball. This is for every sport. You could attribute that to real life if you wanted to. They kind of figured out who their roles were after half. Maybe Sam Purcell was kind of talking to them about that. Once this second half happened, they really kind of fit into their own shoes and started to break them in when the second half was underway.
Well, we'll have a breakdown of individual performances in just a little bit, just from a full, standpoint. But you talked about a couple players in that when we talked about Mississippi State's offense. You talked about Jayla Lampley. You talked about Triana Crisp. Lampley, someone you mentioned who comes off the bench for State, has not started a ball game this year. Had tonight for MSU in double digits, had 12 points in the ball game. So now that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in which she scored in double digits off the bench for Mississippi State. Again, has not started this season. She has been wonderful for the Bulldogs off the bench this year. And then you talk about Triana Crisp. Crisp has been, a normal starter for State, has started every single game on the season, and now has scored in double digits 3 times on the year. So it sometimes hasn't been, much of a threat scoring the basketball, but over the last couple of games has started to pick it up. Ever since that Texas Tech loss, we'll just count the Texas Tech loss in general. Again, since the Texas Tech game, she's had 12, 8, 5, 9, 8, and now double digits tonight in scoring 11 points. So a good performance from her, and, it wasn't just a focused night of scoring for Mississippi State. When I say focused, I mean just 1 or 2 players. It was everybody on this roster, and a lot of these girls did a really, really good job. You talked about McFall. She started out, struggled starting out of the gate, and then was able to clean it up and scored 16 in the ball game. Wade Dozie had 16. Francis struggled starting out of the ball game and had 14, and also loved how Chandler Prater played tonight for Mississippi State with 14 points as well. And a lot of points. The State did score a lot of points, on second chances, in getting 18 offensive rebounds, 19 second chance points for the Bulldogs. But they really, what I thought, controlled the paint tonight, and they've done that a lot this season, but really controlled the paint in terms of rebound the basketball and also scoring inside the paint. 56 points in the paint tonight for Mississippi State.
Yes, and I love to see that, but you also look at Charlotte's points in the paint. That's 26. Almost half of their points were also in the paint. But I also want to go, if we can transition to a defensive topic, because
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, perfect, because what I'm seeing here is, now although you shot, 33% from the 3 if you're Charlotte, a lot of times what I was noticing is Mississippi State loved to cover everything that was between the basket and the arc. Not a lot of perimeter defense. And it came through fast breaks. Charlotte would go down, pass it out to behind the 3. They would get a best 3 most of the time. She had 4 on the night. And that would be the end of Charlotte's possession. And you weren't getting down low and really covering the perimeter. That's one thing that I've noticed. Now, they had 21 shots from the perimeter, which is quite a bit, and they only hit on 7. But 33% is still not that bad of a number from behind the arc.
Yeah, I mean, and there were, too, and I will agree with you, there were some open shots as well that they missed from the three-point line. So, that maybe that's something State had an issue with tonight. I mean, coming into the ball game, we're only allowing teams to shoot 29% from the three-point line. Charlotte shot 4% better than that tonight at 33%. So
that's still an improvement.
An improvement there. But I think overall, State did a good job too. They forced some turnovers tonight, had 6 steals, but 16 turnovers in the ball game. A lot of blocks tonight, which were big for MSU. 6 blocks in the game, 5 of those from Madison Francis. And 2, also, they forced some tough shots. They forced some really tough shots, which is something that Mississippi State has done really all season. They have forced tough shots from opponents, and it's been really, really tough for opponents to shoot against Mississippi State on the year, and that's really been their MO defensively. Not a team that forces very many turnovers. Again, forced 16 tonight, but just not a team that forces very many turnovers, but they pride themselves in making opponents have attempt shots that just aren't are not good looks, and shots that are really, really tough.
Yeah, and you look at the turnover battle, it was fairly similar. 16 and 16, 16 and 15?
16 for Charlotte, 15 for State.
Thank you. I want to see that margin grow.
Yeah, and one thing too, and I'll let you continue, but also this goes back to offense. Charlotte 16 points or 16 turnovers, but State 24 points off of those turnovers. State did a really good job with that in the Pitt ball game. So again, State converting off of turnovers. Continue with your point though.
Yeah, I would say that. That's a great point, Ty. And what you're doing is they're giving you opportunities. You're scoring off those opportunities. You're in turn also giving them opportunities. Now, they only had 14 points off turnovers. So I was looking at the wrong number. But when you look in the grand scheme of things, you had 24 to your 89. They had 14 to their 59. That's a pretty good percentage for them. I mean, it's roughly the same as yours. I would love to see that margin grow. You did that with the rebounds. Now kind of round off another area of basketball. You got to do it with turnovers next.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, turnovers, again, something that State's going to continue to have to work on. They struggled with it last season. They've struggled with it this season. One more thing, too, and we talked about this earlier, but just the rebounding for Mississippi State, that was so big in the ballgame, especially defensively for MSU. You know, coming into the ballgame, we knew Charlotte was not going to be able to rebound the basketball that well. On the defensive side of things, only averaged about 22 rebounds a ballgame defensively, which was 322nd. Charlotte had 21 tonight. State won the rebound battle defensively, 33-21. State did what they had to do, did their job inside. You know, took advantage of Charlotte's non-ability, I guess, if that makes sense, non-ability to be able to rebound the basketball defensively. And State handled business inside. And like we mentioned earlier, State just controlled the paint for the entire ballgame.
I think when Sam Purcell was going into this game, numbers speak a lot. I was talking to my buddy last night. Now, we were talking about football, but I told him in sports, numbers really could tell what the game's all about. You look at those, you decide what you need to do when it comes game day. Sam Purcell looks at these stats and he goes, we're really similar rebounding the ball. 42 rebounds a game for State entering the game, almost 40 for Charlotte. How can we make that margin grow this game? He did it tonight. He said, hey, we're going to put 51 points. You put 51 rebounds, points on the rebound column is what I was trying to say. And you get them, I mean, they do almost 40 on the year. They only had 37. That's almost there. Now, if you had the rebound total like they had, that was similar, like you had entering the game, I would say that you probably don't win this by 30. I would say it would be a lot closer of a ball game than it was tonight because you eliminate a lot of those points you had on those second chance, on those other boards. And you might see a closer game than 89-59. You did what you had to do. You handled business. You found a way to win.
Now, we've talked a lot about, going into SEC play. Now, Mississippi State still has a couple of games to go in out of conference play until we get to Southeastern Conference play. But it'll be interesting to see how the rebounding translates when we get in SEC play. Just to be honest, State has not played as great of opponents in out of conference play. But what they have done is been able to handle business in terms of rebounding the basketball, use their size inside, and they've been great rebounding the ball. I mean, 41st in the country and 7th in the SEC in rebounds per ball game, a great rebound margin on the season. And, defensively, too, to talk about that as well, 30 defensive rebounds a ball game, which is 31st in the country and 5th in the Southeastern Conference. So what I want to say is it'll be interesting to see how that translates when Mississippi State plays some better opponents when we get into SEC play because, again, the SEC is really, really good this season, and we'll see how State fares once they play against some better and bigger opponents inside. But for the most part, and really for all this season, State has done a good job of taking care of business when they play against these lesser opponents, and they've out-rebounded these teams, and a lot of the times out-rebounded them by a good bit.
Yeah, and Sam Purcell, I want him to continue looking at the numbers and say, what do we have to do to win? What do we have to do to make those margins grow? I don't want that Texas Tech loss to define you as a basketball team when you go into conference play. You lost to a team you probably should have beat. It was a close game. I don't want that to define you. I want you to identify weaknesses and losses. I want you to identify weaknesses and wins and go into the next game saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. They play my hometown team next, Southern Miss, here in the Humphrey Coliseum. They got to handle business again. I want to see Mississippi State win. I love my hometown team, but I love Mississippi State that much more. That's why I'm out here calling a basketball game for them. You got to do what it takes to win. Identify your weaknesses in this game. We've kind of identified them already. You got to go into the next game, try to round them off better, but continue to succeed in the areas you're already succeeding at so that if you fall in those areas the next game, you won't have to go over them again the next game after that and the next game after that and keep re-identifying weaknesses you have already handled in games prior.
Well, you talked about the Texas Tech loss and letting it not define you. I think State's done a good job of just moving past that. I mean, they haven't fallen in now 5 straight games, 5 straight wins for the Bulldogs, defeating Alcorn State 65-51, Middle Tennessee State 69-47, Louisiana Monroe 66-54, Pitt 79-44, and now Charlotte 89-59. So State has not let that define them, and they just continue to trudge along. Got to put that one behind them, and they did, and they've won now 5 straight, and they moved to 9-1. Wanted to talk about some individuals that we thought played well. I mean, and just go over some individual play tonight. Destiny McFall with 16 points tonight as well, with 3 assists, 29 minutes played for her, and a plus-minus of +20. Trina Chris with 11 points, played well, really well tonight. In fact, had the best plus-minus on the squad tonight for MSU. Played in 30 minutes and a plus-minus of +33. Prater with a double-double tonight. Her first of the season, 14 points and 13 rebounds, a plus-minus of 15, or +15 in 26 minutes. Favor Wadozie, 16 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 11 rebounds, another double-double for her. Her fourth on the year in 24 minutes, a plus-minus of +29. Madison Francis, 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 blocks in 32 minutes, a plus-minus of +31. And Jayla Lampley, 12 points, 6 of 8 from the field, also had 5 rebounds in 19 minutes at a plus-minus of +6. Just had a little bit too many turnovers with 3 turnovers. Also in scoring tonight for State was Carissa Richardson, who had 4, Natalia Gray, who had 2. You also had Sanaya King, Awa Fanei, and Rocio Jimenez play. They did not score, but King had a couple of rebounds tonight, had 4, and also had 3 assists. Actually had a plus-minus of +11 in 15 minutes. So although she was not scoring tonight for State, she did a lot in terms of rebounding the ball and also giving some players some assists. So good job from a lot of the Bulldogs tonight. Just going through those players, anyone you would want to pick, maybe 1 or 2 girls that you thought really, really played well for tonight for Mississippi State. I know one that I would say, and I don't want to steal one from you, but I was really proud of how Chandler Prater played tonight. Really, really proud of how she came out there, a leader on this group, one of the 3 returners on this squad, came out and dominated tonight, 14 points and 13 rebounds for her first double-double of the season. Was really happy with the way she played. What about you?
Yeah, I'm glad. I agree you didn't take mine. I mean, I've talked enough about Madison Francis. I want to talk about the other girl down low, Wadozie. I mean, she had 16 points in 24 minutes. She made every minute count. I mean, she was a little bit of foul trouble. She plays a little aggressive. 11 rebounds all night. Had herself a nice little double-double. 8 for 13. I would say overall she played a really, really complete game. I mean, she had a tally mark in every category that really matters if you're playing the 5. Now, we had a really good down-low play. And when I look at kind of years past, I could say, man, there's really only been one good girl down low, or there's only been one, maybe not even one good girl down low. We have 2 girls that are really, really good down low. That's Madison Francis. That's Favor Wadozie. Now, I could say Madison Francis is good down low. She's also good in different areas of the court.
Yeah, she's very versatile.
Yes, and we've talked about that before. Having 2 really good girls down low who score a combined points of 30 tonight not only keeps you in ball games, but keeps you competitive in conference play. Because once you get into conference play, they're going to have big girls down low. They're going to have big bodies. You got to be able to figure out how you're going to compete with them. I think you figured it out this year, and we're going to see what happens.
So we had a lot of girls play great tonight for Mississippi State. Really proud of how the Bulldogs played. And they won 89-59 over Charlotte to move to 9-1 on the season. Any last thoughts from you? And then actually, you know what? We'll kind of talk about. We'll talk a little bit because I don't want to spend too much time on the post game show. We'll talk a little bit about what's happened with Mississippi State athletics so far over the past couple of really days, I guess, because we won't be able to have a episode of the Bulldog Breakdown next week. So we can kind of mention some things that have been going on. Again, Mississippi State hired a new soccer head coach today. Our new soccer head coach is Kevin O'Brien from Lipscomb. Really excited for him. Lipscomb defeated Mississippi State in the first round of the NCAA tournament this past season. So, and he also led the Bisons to 5 NCAA tournament appearances and I believe 12 seasons there. Won a lot of Atlantic Sun championships there, and also, it also not only beat State this year, but beat State another year in the NCAA tournament as well. So 2 victories over State in the NCAA tournament. So he comes here to Mississippi State in a good hire for the Bulldogs, I believe, as they try and replace Nick Zimmerman, who made his way to Florida here recently. And then also we'll talk about just a second, talk about men's basketball. Lost tonight, another tough one. Lost to San Francisco in Tupelo tonight by 65-62, I think was the final score. So tough loss for the Bulldogs. Had a turnover late that really made things hard on them. They were down 1 with about 9 seconds, and then a turnover on an inbound made it a 3-point game, and then State could not convert with a 3 to tie the game. State only led for about 30 seconds or so in that entire ball game. So really we're coming from behind the entire game. It was really tough for them. State didn't rebound the ball well at all in the basketball game. So it was really tough, and also had to play that entire ball game, pretty much that entire ball game, without Josh Hubbard. So State missing their top scorer and the SEC's leading scorer, one of the best scorers in the nation, and they fall to San Francisco to move to 4-5. And then what we wanted to talk about, Mississippi State football recently also made a staff move recently. Got rid of Coleman Hutzler, the former defensive coordinator for MSU, and brought back an old friend in Zach Arnett. Zach Arnett comes back to Mississippi State and will be your defensive coordinator next season. He obviously was the defensive coordinator for Mike Leach while he was here, and then after the passing of Mike Leach, took over for Leach in the bowl game the season that he passed away, and then also coached 1 year for Mississippi State. Got let go during the middle of the year after 4-6 start, but he comes back to Mississippi State after taking an analyst job at Ole Miss. Was going to be the defensive coordinator this year at UNLV, but stepped down. So kind of took a year off this year, and he's now your defensive coordinator at State. Brings a lot of, I think, toughness back to Mississippi State's defense. State had some really good defenses under Zach Arnett, so look forward to that. But the main thing we did want to talk about was Mississippi State going to be in a bowl game.
They are, and I don't know if you saw it, but the opponent has been announced.
Yeah, they're playing the Wake Forest Demon Deacons
and they don't have to travel far for that one.
Not at all. Wake Forest, a team from North Carolina. I can never remember where their town name. Winston-Salem.
I was about to tell you. Yep.
That's right. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I always forget. I always can remember.
You usually get it eventually.
Yeah, I can always remember the rest of those schools in North Carolina, but I always sometimes forget Winston-Salem for Wake Forest. But again, yeah, you're right. They don't have to travel very far. That game going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Bank of America Stadium. It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl that Mississippi State will participate in, the first bowl game for Mississippi State since the 2022 season, in which Mississippi State won the ReliaQuest Bowl 19-10 over Illinois. So the Bulldogs back bowling for the first time in a couple seasons. Jeff Lebby, after a 5-7 season, able to make a bowl game after some teams passed on going to the bowl game, as well as Mississippi State with a great APR, and that is an academic progress rate. So State a good job of being smart inside the classroom and doing well inside the classroom, and they that pays off as they're going to go to a bowl game. And
that's Dr. Keenum for you.
Yep, try and get to, as Dr. Keenum says, you better go to class. And so I'm sure he's proud of his Bulldogs as Mississippi State in a bowl game for the first time since 2022. They'll take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Last time, give you a little bit of history, you always call me a encyclopedia or whatever.
I call you an archive.
Last time Mississippi State, and I'm going to look up the final score because I can't remember the final score, but last time Mississippi State faced Wake Forest was in the Music City Bowl, the 2011 Music City Bowl. Bulldogs were quarterbacked by Chris Relf, and I was at that game in Nashville, Tennessee. Mississippi State won 23-17 over Wake Forest. So those two teams have some history in bowl games. Mississippi State, of course, beat them 23-17 in the 2011 Music City Bowl, but this time they'll meet in Charlotte, North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Looking forward to that one.
Oh, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. What if we traveled to North Carolina and tried to call the Dukes Mayo Bowl for the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
That's something we have been thinking about, and obviously we'll let all of you know if we do. But, it would be definitely a great opportunity for us, and again, we're going to be thinking about that and deciding if we want to do that over the break. The game, State not playing until January, so a lot of time until that bowl game.
That's usually how it is for us anyways. We usually don't get the earlier bowl games.
Yeah, and that's always a good thing, too. At State, just over a month until the Bulldogs will play. The Dukes Mayo Bowl set for January the 2nd at, I believe, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So, the Bulldogs not going to play for a little while, but they are going bowling. We have, like I said, here at the network, we have considered maybe trying to apply for a credential and go try and do that. We'll see if we can, and we still have some decisions to make about that. Also, we'll be with our family during New Year's, so got a lot of things to consider with that. But it is a possibility. But we will have, we'll let you know if we do cover that ball game. But just excited that Mississippi State's back bowling, and we wanted to talk to y'all before we close the post-game show just about the happenings of Mississippi State athletics over the last couple of days and over really the last week. So anything from you, Connor, before I close this out?
Am I talking about basketball, football?
Whatever you want to say. You can wrap up what you saw tonight from the women's team, and if you got anything else, let me know.
I just want to say one thing for the women's team, just so I can get that out there. I don't know when I'm going to call my next game, just because I want to go home, Ty. We're playing Southern Miss. It's not at Southern, but I'm going to go home to Southern Miss because I miss my dogs, and I like my Bulldog, but I miss my dogs. So I want to go back home and see how the family's doing. But you got to identify your weaknesses when it comes to basketball. Continue to do that. Continue to see how you kind of fare against other teams and where you fall short. And I think you've done a great job of that, especially from even the past game to this one. Continue to do that. You'll be successful even when you go to conference play with however many conference members you have above you in the shooting. A lot of good teams there. But when it comes to football, I want to congratulate Jeff Lebby on a season that, not many people expected. We go into Arizona State, and you're thinking, well, this is going to be probably the same outcome as last year. We win that. Really good. We were there, had a really good time there. And then a couple other things throughout the season happened. And now you get to be rewarded with the bowl game. It feels kind of surreal even to me, and I'm not even going to be in the bowl game. We might get the opportunity to travel to call it. But, hey, Jeff Lebby ends on a high note for his season. Got to congratulate him for that one. And then soccer, I think you got a really good hire. You got an O'Connor now for baseball. You got an O'Brien here for soccer. So good stuff for Mississippi State athletics. Zach Selman's doing his thing.
Yeah, I think I can commend Selman on what he's done, at least hiring. You've been put in tough positions over the past couple seasons in
a lot of hiring
with soccer in general. Lost James Armstrong last year, and then you hire Nick Zimmerman, and Zimmerman has a good first season for Mississippi State, and then he's gone to Florida, so forced to have to hire again. And I agree with you. I think he did a good job in finding Mr. O'Brien for Mississippi State. So looking forward to see how he does for Mississippi State soccer. And then again, state football, just, ending the season on a nice high note. State had a really nice recruiting class. Maybe not the highest recruiting class here at Mississippi State ever, but a recruiting class that was kind of a wild ride during signing day. State had a lot of flips during signing day and ended up putting together a pretty good recruiting class. Ended up flipping, Braylon Womack, a 5-star that was committed to Auburn, flipped him and flipped a lot more guys, and they were able to have a good signing day, and now they're able to go to a bowl game.
Kristen Keys would have been so nice, though.
Yeah, well, State did flip a lot more guys. You think about Nickerson, who flips he was long committed to Missouri, a kid out of Magnolia, Mississippi, South Pike High School, and ends up, flipping here. You had a couple of other guys flip. A lot of guys flip from Power 4 schools. And State just brought together I thought a good recruiting class, had a good recruiting or good signing day. And then the Bulldogs, able to go to a bowl game and excited for what, the future brings for this Bulldog squad. But it always is huge to be able to have extra practices for this squad, and especially for any early enrollees in that signing class. It'll be big to get them there, but I mean, a lot of these younger guys on this team, it's going to be great for them to have some extra practices this season as we head into preparing for the Dukes Mayo Bowl. Mississippi State, again, going to face Wake Forest in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. So that's going to just about do it here from the Bulldog Student Sports Network post-game show. Again, I want to take the time to remind you to follow us on our socials. On Instagram, we are at Bulldog Student Sports Network. On X, at BSSN_MSU. And then if you're listening to us here on YouTube or coming back and listening to the replay of this stream on YouTube, subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel on the Bulldog Student Sports Network and click that notification bell. I always say it's like ringing a cowbell if you're a Mississippi State fan. It'll help you now. It'll help you later. You will get instant notifications when we go live calling Mississippi State athletic events or when any of our editions of the Bulldog Breakdown come out. Those are weekly episodes that just posted our last one of the semester yesterday as Connor and I and also Tanner Davis and Joshua Wilson and all of us as students here at Mississippi State prepare to go home for winter break. And we will come back, though, for next semester, and we will have episodes for you weekly whenever we get all settled in here on the great campus of Mississippi State University. So, again, follow us on our socials. Again, that's at Bulldog Student Sports Network on Instagram, at BSSN_MSU on X, and here on YouTube, the Bulldog Student Sports Network. For Connor Davis, I'm Ty Goldman. It was a great win tonight, great win for Mississippi State. They moved to 9-1, and I'm really, really happy with the stream tonight as well. Thank you to Connor Davis for both producing and color commentating in this one, and I guess thank you to myself for being here doing play-by-play. So, again, a pleasure tonight to broadcast this one to you. For Connor Davis, I'm Ty Goldman. Mississippi State wins 89-59 over Charlotte. They move to 9-1 on the season, and the ladies starting the season off right as they bowl towards conference play with a couple more out-of-conference games to go. Mississippi State 89, Charlotte 59. You can wrap this one, my friends, in a great big maroon and white. Everybody have a great rest of your Sunday, and Hail State.